Welcome to our latest session of Dragon of Icespire Peak. As usual, we will do a quick recap and then we will jump into our session for tonight. So, group, you guys likely recall we started off last session with you guys being in the woods. You were in the woods along the river as you were making your way through the Neverwinter Wood on your way to track down Falcon's Hunting Lodge. So this is where you guys are headed. And as a quick reminder, the reason that you're headed there is that while in Phandalin, there was a rider that had come from the Butterskull Ranch, and that rider had explained that orcs had attacked the Butterskull Ranch and he was looking to get help. In giving you guys this information, Toblin from the Stonehill Inn asked you all if you would be interested in heading over to the Butterskull Ranch just to see if you could find out what happened there and perhaps rescue the owner of the Butterskull Ranch, whom the rider had indicated, really tough guy, so if anybody could survive it, likely he could. You guys decided that it would make more sense to head to Falcon's Hunting Lodge and try to get Falcon to aid you in attacking or perhaps just clearing out the orcs from the Butterskull Ranch. So you guys made your way up along the forest line of the Neverwinter Wood, made your way to the river, and then headed east to the looking for Falcon's Hunting Lodge. And as you made your way east, you guys first of all ran into a lookout tower that you had spotted from a distance and decided to get a little bit closer to it, checking it out, seeing what the deal there was. And you also decided to send forth Cat to be a little sneaky, to get a little bit closer and see what you could find. In doing so, she discovered two giant boars, or one actually to start, and let the group know. You guys eventually decided giant boar meat sounded pretty good and approached, and I believe the salvo began with Bryn throwing a javelin at one of the giant boars. This started our battle off as you guys attacked the giant boar. Turned out there was a second giant boar. It turned the corner and charged forth, nearly taking Kurtu's head off, but luckily you guys were able to kill these two giant boars and had a lot of meat at your disposal. After the two giant boars were slain, you guys then took an opportunity to check out this lookout tower, and climbing the ladder and getting up there, it was discovered that there was a recipe that was actually stapled or pinned to the wall. I believe it was Cat that climbed up there to check it out, being very careful as the lookout tower did not look to be in such great shape, but it held at least for Cat's weight up there. You don't know if it would hold the full group, for example, but you were able to get that recipe, which looked kind of strange. Cat also noticed off in the distance some large birds that seemed to be making their way to the west. So you guys had spent a bit of time harvesting these giant boars, skinning them and collecting the meat, and just taking care of some other odds and ends. Once you realized these birds seemingly were getting closer and closer, and likely some of you guys I think even voiced that likely they could smell the death and were coming towards the corpses of the boars, perhaps you guys decided you didn't want to be here when they showed up, so you continued heading east. So following the river east, you eventually made your way to what you eventually came to know is the loggers camp. Once you arrived at the loggers camp, you could see that there was this essentially a wood camp that was built very close to the river. You guys made your way down through some of the areas that you spotted these sort of ruined outlines or foundations. It looked like some buildings had recently been destroyed. You guys went to one of the standing buildings, and entering the doorway, you were surprised to see that a large insect creature burst forth through the wood planks of the ground and engaged you all in combat. You guys eventually learned that this was an Ankeg and were able to defeat it without suffering too bad of wounds. Hidden in a barred door in that same building was a man who indicated that he was actually the brother of the town master of Phandalin. And he asked for your help in securing the premises and making sure that there were no more of these creatures in this area. You guys then did a quick scan around this area and made your way towards some of the tents where it was a loggers camp set up there, and found that there were several, or not several, but a few more of these Ankegs. And as you got close to where they were burrowing under the sand, they burst forth and attacked your group. I think you guys fought in total 4, so 3 by those tents and then 1 back in the room. You guys managed to kill all of them, and then doing a scout of the area, found nothing else of danger, but you did find in the south camp's fire that there was this bundle of wood-carved figurines that were decorated with some symbolism of lightning bolts. I believe it was Talhoun that first got his hands on these, took a look at them, and was able to determine that they were associated with the deity Talos, who is known as essentially the destructive force of nature. He's the deity that represents that. Knowing also that this particular item, this fetish or totem, is known to attract bad luck or bring bad luck to those that are nearby it, he decided to destroy the totem, so crushed it up in his hands. You guys then made your way back to the house or the building, informed the townmaster's brother that all was safe, and questioned him / interrogated him a little bit to see what he really knew about what was going on here. Based on the drag marks, you assumed that these Ankegs had taken all of the loggers and dragged them down underneath the holes to be devoured. Whether any survived and fled, you're not really sure, but you guys, I think it was Talhoun again, prompting the logger master, we'll call him, to go with you to show you the location of Falcon's hunting lodge, as that was part of the precondition of you guys agreeing to clear out these insects from here, is that he would tell you how to get there exactly. When you posited to him, well, why don't you just lead us, perhaps thinking maybe he was going to refuse, he seemed to accept this offer very quickly, as what was he going to do here by himself without any loggers? So yeah, he agreed to travel with you guys. You guys continued following the river. One other point of note there is, as you guys were doing all these sort of discussions with the logger master, some of you that were outside of the building did notice a boar on the far east side of the area. This was before you actually fought the Ankegs. You saw it. Some of you suspected that maybe it was Falcon, that he could somehow shapeshift, perhaps, like a druid, and you called out to him, but the boar seemingly walked away. What was curious of this is that the boar was watching you, as though you would expect an intelligent being or maybe a humanoid type of creature to watch somebody, almost like a scout, as opposed to just a simple animal that's going about doing its animal type things. So as you guys defeated these insects and then continued making your way east, you eventually discovered that there was some singing in the air. You got closer to it, and in doing so, eventually saw a young man perched up in a lower hanging branch, 7-8 feet off the ground kind of thing, and it seemed as though he was singing these perhaps love ballads or different type of songs to the tree almost, or to the sky, hard to say for sure. You guys, as you approach, you decided, let's pretty much just try to walk past this guy. We're not going to make a big effort of going around him, and we don't particularly want to engage him in conversation, so we're just going to try to walk by and see if he notices, and if he does, what will his reaction be. He did spot you guys, as you weren't taking great efforts to obscure your presence, but after detecting you, he kind of just called out to you, saying like, yeah, I see you there, kind of thing. How are you? What are you doing? You guys decided, hey, we're not here to talk. We got a job to do. We got to move on. And he pretty much was like, yep, fine, that makes sense. And you guys walked off and left him there in the tree. Traveling a bit further along that path, you eventually found your way to Falcon's hunting lodge. And the logger master pointed it out and said, yep, here it is. This is definitely the place. You guys looked upon this location and see it for all of its glory, as you are on the west side of the river at the moment, facing Falcon's hunting lodge to your east. So that is our recap. Is there anything that I missed here that anybody would like to add? All right, hearing nothing, we will assume that was sufficient recap, and we will go ahead and award inspiration to Reggie for an entry in Reggie's research journal, and we will go ahead and throw the group onto the map. All right, group, so you find yourself on this west side of the building, or I should say west side of the river, and you can see that there is this bridge that stretches across to where you see Falcon's hunting lodge. I did read this description to you guys, but I'll give it to you one more time just to make sure it's fresh in mind. A thin fog surrounds a fortified compound standing in a clearing on the east side of a narrow river. A 10-foot-high log palisade surrounds the compound, whose main building is a 2-story stone and wood affair with a high-pitched roof, gables, window shutters, and a stone chimney. Attached to the main building is a blocky tower of gray stone, its high roof lined with battlements. Other structures include a 2-story stable house and a gatehouse whose flat roof is enclosed by iron railings. A stone bridge spans the river, ending before an oaken door set into the gatehouse's outer wall. Mounted next to the door is a bell with a short rope hanging from its clapper.
Yeah, looks like the place. Shall we go?
We just go up and knock, huh?
Sounds like a plan to me.
Adam, Tiber is still with us, right?
The Logger Master, yes, he is. We will assume he is slightly off map as he's watching you guys get acquainted.
I will ring the bell if I can reach it.
Yes, you can indeed. So as you ring the bell, you hear from the other side a momentary bit of silence, and then perhaps after maybe 30 seconds or so, you hear, I'm coming, hold on, just a moment, good sirs. And then from the other side of this door, you hear the sound of a hatch or a latch in the top open, and you see a withered old face looking at you through this little hatch area, and looks towards you and says, yes, what can I do for you?
We have a refugee with us from the loggers' camp downriver. We've heard this is the safest place in Neverwinter Wood.
You hear, well, I suppose that it is, being that the Neverwinter Wood is quite dangerous and all. Well, you see he kind of peeks out, looks at you, takes particular notice of your ears here, Kat, as he's eyeing you a bit skeptically, and looks back towards Bryn. You hear, a couple of women, well, yes, come in, I suppose.
Thank you.
Welcome. Yes, so I presume you're looking just for a place to rest?
We would also like to... Are you Falcon, the proprietor of this place? We would also like to speak with him if we can.
No, my lords, no. Of course I'm not Falcon. Do I look like I am world-renowned archer and soldier veteran? No. But if you wish to speak to Falcon, I believe he is currently in the dining hall. Just to the east there, you will find the steps up to the door.
Thank you, sir. I didn't catch your name.
Corwin, if it pleases my lady.
Pleasure to meet you.
Yes, you all very, interesting individuals.
Comes with the trade.
You don't know the half of it.
And you see he looks down at you, and, oh, my, I didn't even see you there. Oh, yes, right. Well,
Oh, I was wandering in a little late, that's why.
Oh,
Thank you for opening the door for us.
yes, it's, refuge. It's a good way of putting it. Well, Master Falcon, I'm sure will address you all. Like I said, right over there to the east.
Are these the steps he was referring to?
They are indeed. All right, Bryn, you open this door and step on in, and you notice that you are in a large dining hall. However, probably the most interesting feature that pops out of this is you can see that there are many different animal heads posted along the walls, both on the first floor and on the second floor. You can see large elk heads. You can even recognize a giant boar's head, similar to the ones that you just killed recently, and far more exotic creatures here as well. You notice in sort of the southeast corner of this room, there is a large area, perhaps 30 feet long from south going north. It looks like it would also contain mounted animal heads, but there is currently a white linen sort of hanging over it.
Good afternoon.
As you enter and sort of call this out, Bryn, you notice this fairly large man who stands about 6'6" turns to face you.
You have an impressive collection.
Thank you. I am glad that it meets your interest. Come in, do not be shy.
You must be Falcon.
Yes, that is I, Falcon the Hunter. And you are?
My name is Bryn Fuseful, and these are my adventuring friends.
Ah, adventurers. I don't get many of your kind here, not for a while now. Please, make yourself comfortable. You can see that there is a large...
I'm a Dragoran.
You
Nice
see
to meet you.
He kind of raises an eyebrow as you say Dragoran, and he looks at you and says, "Ah, of course, right." Around this room, you see that there is also a large dining table, sort of more in the south side of this room. And you see there are several large, high-backed wooden chairs in that area. And you see he kind of motions there as he says, "Make yourselves at home." As you pass by Bryn, you notice he gives you this sort of apprising eye, and he is doing the same to each of the rest of you guys as you're passing by. Give me a survival check blind here, Bryn, as you look at these different animal heads along the walls. Yep, looks to be a lot of different animal heads. You don't make anything else out of interest or really gather any information about any specifics here. Just looks pretty common, like you would expect maybe at a hunting lodge. You see he looks again to all of you, and you hear a bit of a grumble, Finn, from behind you as Misa opens the door, slips in, and then closes it and looks at you with a tisk-tisk. But then Falcon, looking at the rest of you, says, "So, what is it that brings you all here, if I may ask? Where do you come from?"
Falcon, hi, I'm Reggie. We come from Phandalin. You know, what brings us here is quite curious. It's kind of two things, really. As we were traveling here, we came across a loggers camp tucked away in the wood there. It looked like they were attacked by Ankegs, and there was only one survivor, and we couldn't leave him, so we brought him with us.
Oh, how dreadful. From Phandalin, you say, and yet you came from the west. How peculiar. You didn't take the walking trail.
There's a walking trail?
Yes, of course, from the south side of the Neverwinter Wood. I make sure to travel its range and clear it every week or so.
Well, we were not given that piece of information.
I see. How strange. Well, to this story of the loggers' camp, you indicate one survivor. Let me guess, it's that weasel who is the logger master.
You guessed correctly.
Spot on.
If there was anyone who would survive, it would be that sniveling coward. Well, that is quite unfortunate, but when you set up a logging camp without sufficient protection, well, you see, you can understand when things go wrong.
Yeah, and we found some I don't know, magical dolls or something like that in the fire pit too, which was very odd.
And you see he raises an eyebrow pretty significantly. Magical dolls? I'm afraid you'll have to be more specific. That sounds quite absurd.
I know, but I didn't get to see them because someone destroyed them kind of quickly. Who did that?
That that was Talhoun, but that's neither here nor there. They were like totems dedicated to Talos. It was deduced by a friend that they bring ill fortune, bad luck. There was 13 of them placed around the camp. It was curious indeed.
Yes, bad fortune. You can say that again. That seems to be a common sign among the orcs these days. They've given into Talos worship, apparently.
And as you bring it up, orcs is the second reason why we have come. See,
were there also orcs on your path from the west?
No, there were not, but we came because orcs had recently attacked Butterskull Ranch. Are you familiar?
I am. That is also unfortunate. How come by this information, do you?
One of the stable hands was able to grab a horse and take off before the attack got too organized. He made his way back to Phandalin and was able to tell his story. He says he believes the head of the ranch, a Big Al, I believe his name is still alive. And we hoped you would assist us in saving him.
You notice he kind of nods slowly and almost does a laugh cough that he covers with his mouth really quick. Well, let me see if I have this straight. A rider left from Butterskull Ranch going to Phandalin, which would take at least a couple of days. Even riding at top speed and driving the poor animal into the ground, I can't imagine it would go much faster than that. Then you decided to head along the river and travel to my hunting lodge from the west, and now you're asking me to go to the Butterskull Ranch and somehow save Big Al. Does it occur to you that in the significant delay from the amount of time these events actually occurred, that the chances of the orcs still being there or Big Al being alive at all is quite rare?
I do.
It does occur to us, however, if the orcs are still there, the ranch could be some kind of foothold that they could use to stage an attack against the Phandalin itself, or even your lodge here. We would be remiss to not do anything about it.
And I don't know if I told you, but I heard there's more than 20 orcs. And we came across orcs earlier, and there was only a few of them. Now, they caught us by surprise, but they kicked we almost didn't survive, and our bunny friend, he didn't survive. And so we can't go there, just 6 of us, to attack over 20. So we need friends, we need help.
So the 6 of you could not do it, but you think the one of I can?
Our intention was to bring you with us. We were told by the innkeeper in Phandalin that you are a legendary hunter of some repute in the area. So, if anyone could stand a chance, it could be us with you on our side.
And if I remember correctly, you have a particular disdain for the orcs. Sounds like they're stirring the pot here in the woods already.
You see he turns and starts walking south as he's speaking, his words carrying behind him. Well, you see, without a risk of being immodest, I must say I am quite capable of killing orcs, as you see. And you see he pulls down this linen drape, and you notice 7 orc heads plastered to the wall. But nonetheless, you see, it's not as simple as you are thinking. If there truly are 20 orcs out in the open at Butterskull Ranch, then, well, I'm afraid that is more than we all likely could handle. Here in my woods, it's a different story. For you see, the orcs are incredibly stupid and brutish and simply charge at anything they think of as a threat. It is very easy to taunt them into running into traps, nooses, pinholes, those type of things. But out in the open, with no preparation against 20 orcs, I don't like our chances.
Doctor, may I ask you if you have a map of the, I suppose, the Sword Coast?
A map of the Sword Coast. I may have something like that around here, but how good of quality? Well, I can't attest to that. For you map makers, they change their minds quite frequently, and what it is they choose to put on and what they do not. Why do you ask? Is it something in particular?
I believe I have the wrong, out of character, I believe I have the name wrong.
For what, the Butterskull Ranch?
I'm just thinking of like the layout of the land. Like the overworld, like trying to think of like in reference to where we are now, to where Butterskull Ranch is, where Phandalin is, all that fun stuff.
Well, with that, we can take a quick peek over to our Sword Coast page. And you will recall, while you may not have the exact location at the moment of where the Butterskull Ranch, you were told that the rider came from the northeast, and you know that there is a trail that leads this way and then up this way. So Butterskull Ranch you believe to be somewhere over in this area.
Okay, cool. I'm not as familiar with Faerun as I'd like to be.
Oh, that's not a worries.
All right, so I guess back in character. So you believe that there's a possibility that we could lure them into these woods here?
They have been coming into the woods whether we lure them or not. But to get all of them from the Butterskull Ranch into the woods, no, I don't suspect that would be easy going at all.
I don't think we necessarily want to kill all the orcs, but we need to make sure there's any survivors, and if we can save them. By they I mean my companions here, told me before I met them how these orcs had killed one of their companions and ate them. We know that they have a particular interest in slavery. We're not asking for your help to slay 20 orcs. We're asking for your help to save a friend.
And who is the friend, Big Al?
He's not our friend, but he's a friend of the city of Phandalin, or village, or whatever you call it. And I mean, with the dragon about and
even you must know how poor of a case you're making right now.
I'm not trying to convince you of something logical, sir.
Well, then my answer is very easy, and no, unfortunately I cannot aid you in this. You see, this is my lodge. It is my duty to protect this area, and when those terrible orcs do manage to make their way close enough that they become my concern, as you can see, as he motions with his hand to the wall of orc heads, I make sure to take care of them. But traveling many miles outside of the woods to aid Big Al, I'm afraid, is not something I can assist you with. But nonetheless, you have made your way here. Sad as it is to say, I am quite certain that Big Al is already dead with this delay, or perhaps sold into slavery, as you've suggested, my turtle friend. But you're here, why not take a bit of a rest? I can have Corwin whip up a meal we can enjoy, and then perhaps tomorrow you could be on your way.
Well, you have obviously been motivated by sport for your killing of these creatures in here, including the orcs. But we are motivated, at least I am, by vengeance. They killed and filleted and ate our friend in front of us, and that cannot be allowed to stand. And they will be here in your woods before you know it.
They already have, my dear. You see, as I have already explained to you, something is pushing the orcs closer this way. I would not be surprised in the least if the same orcs, the tribes that have been entering the Neverwinter Wood around my lodge, you see, are the same ones that have attacked Butterskull Ranch. But as I said, here I can take care of them. Here I know the lay of the land. I know where the footfalls are. I know the tall trees that connect to others. I can get good vantage points, shooting them with my bow as needed, luring them into traps otherwise. I could probably take care of a dozen orcs in the woods here, but out on the plains against 20, as I said, that is not something that I am capable of assisting you with. Look at your group. There's 7 of you. If the 7 of you are not able to outthink the orcs, I'm not sure what you think I can help you with.
Well, perhaps we could draw them here. If we drew them here and lured them here, would you assist us?
I would prefer you do not bring orcs to my forest, but if they were here, then it certainly would be easier to dispatch them. But you understand how far it is between Butterskull Ranch and my lodge here. You understand how long of a pursuit you would have to get these orcs to chase you on. And they are not exactly intelligent beings. They get bored pretty quickly.
Yes, I am not too familiar with orcs from where I come from, but from what I have seen, they are not too bright.
They are filthy, disgusting parasites of life forms, with nothing to distinguish them whatsoever. They have no good qualities. The best orc is a dead orc.
Just to let you know, I killed one with a fireball. I thought you should know that.
So, it sounds as though you even have magic at your disposal. Again.
I'm working on it. I'm a Dragon. But I'm still, it was a small fireball, but it was enough.
It sounds as though you have a mighty arrayment of friends here with quite a bit of different special skills. Magic amongst you. Some of you certainly look to be warriors. He says he looks over towards Talhoun. Perhaps you don't need any external aid whatsoever.
Well, it seems as if you know the lay of the land and you've sort of built a reputation here for yourself.
That is true.
I think the orcs that captured us are probably different from these other orcs, so I think there's a lot of orcs.
You keep saying this. 20 orcs, a lot of orcs. There may be, who knows. But if you haven't been there, and it's several days since the attack on Butterskull Ranch has occurred, how do you know they're even still there? Your turtle friend here says they may be setting up a base of operations. It's always possible, but the only way to know would be to go there.
I liked your idea about making food for dinner tonight. I like that idea too.
If you would like to stay here as my guest for the night, you are welcome to do so. I do have some guests coming in the next day or so, depending on when they can get their perfumed bottoms this way, but for now, I am at your service. So allow me to go speak with Corwin. I will ask him to put on a meal for a large group.
Hey Adam, I don't remember what the bug creatures were called.
Ankags.
Yeah, and there were some Ankakians that were in the sand that attacked the loggers. So we didn't bring any of their heads for your trophy, though. We thought maybe you might already have one.
And you see he gives a grin as he points a finger up. That one is on the 2nd floor.
Oh, well, we killed like 4 or 5, or maybe it was 7. I don't remember.
7 Ankags. I think you could take on an army of orcs. Excuse me, miss. And you see Miza. Oh, sorry. And just kind of steps out of the way. As I said, please, make yourselves comfortable.
I think he likes us.
I think he's humoring us. This trip was most likely a huge waste of time. Thoughts? What's our next move here?
Well, I think if we can't convince him, then we'll never be able to take on those orcs.
I don't think one person would make too much of a difference, really.
Well, he appears to be a very skilled and talented fighter.
He was scared to leave his hold.
Oh, perhaps that is the way to convince him.
I don't know if antagonizing the person we intend to spend the night with is a great idea. Perhaps in the morning.
Yes,
if
yes,
we
at
don't
breakfast.
intend to come back.
I do agree that I do think that coming all this way was not the greatest move.
I don't think it was a bad move. I just don't think he wants to go with us. But maybe tonight during dinner he can, if we are going to go, maybe then he can give us some ideas on if we run up against some orcs. Maybe he can tell us how we can kill them easy.
Love some more information. In regards to how we can go about tactfully taking care of these things. If he obviously has experience in the matter, he might be able to teach us a thing or two.
Alright, as you guys remain in the dining hall here, you hear the sound of the door opening behind you once again. Yeah, it is all arranged. Corwin will put on a meal and give him a short bit of time, and yes, we will dine inside here. But step out for a moment to let me show you where the guest bunks are, so you can know where you will be staying tonight. You see he kind of like motions with his hand and he says, Here it is. This is the guest box. Inside you will find, while they are not the greatest accommodations, they are suitable. They are a bit on the simple side, but they should suffice. As you scan just briefly inside this area, it looks kind of like a large barn. And you can see that there are several cots set up in the back. Again, much like he said, simple accommodations, though it looks to be fairly clean in here.
It will do. We're certainly better than trudging through the jungle for the past few days.
And you see
You're very gracious.
he gives like a hearty chuckle. Jungle, ah, you must not be from around here. But yes, I imagine it will serve your needs much better than sleeping on a hard dirt floor.
This is much bigger than the room I've got at the inn, so this is great. Thank you.
You are most welcome. Well, if you wish to stretch your legs, feel free to do so. If you wish to head inside and get a bit of rest before dinner, you can do that as well. Corwin, start the meal. We should be eating very soon. And you see Corwin looks at him and yeah, and kind of rushes off to the south. You see he looks over towards the logger master, who's kind of fidgeting with his hands and subconsciously keeps wiping imaginary dirt off of his sleeves. And he looks back at you all and says, "Let me have a private conversation with Tybor. I don't know how productive it will be, but give me a moment. Please feel free to enjoy my hospitality, and if you have any questions, well, find me."
Thank you very much. See you soon.
Alright, as you head on into this location, like I say, it looks, again, clean is probably the main issue. It essentially is strayed like a large barn. There is a carpet of straw that covers this floor, and in total there are 9 cots here that each have these soft-looking pillows, and you can see some thick wool blankets on each of the cots.
A cat, come here.
What?
You're sneaky, right?
I'm what?
Sneaky.
Sure.
Do you think it would be possible to eavesdrop on them? I'm saying this quiet, like I'm basically like whispering it to Cat.
Possibly, but are you sure you want to risk upsetting him if he spots me?
But
I suppose.
I can turn you invisible, remember?
Quiet down, Cartoon.
No, that's a good idea, actually.
I haven't cast the spell on anybody yet. I cast it on a squirrel, though. It worked on the squirrel. I could cast it on you.
Sure, come inside and do it so nobody sees it happen.
You can't stay invisible.
No shit, but they can see you cast the invisibility spell.
Oh, yeah,
And hear you.
There is that, yeah. Are you ready? I can cast 2 people invisible if you want, or just the one, or just you, Cat. You're good at this, though, I'm sure.
That's okay. I don't want anyone fumbling around behind me.
Okay, here I go, everybody. Watch this.
By the way, how long does this last? How quick do I need to be in and out?
Let me wait until I cast it so I can read that spell, okay? There it is.
Up to an hour.
Safe to presume here, Kurtu, you're actually entering the barn and out of line of shot before you're doing this?
Yep. Sorry, I was looking at my sheet.
Yep, no worries. I assumed as much. Alright, so, and who is the target of your invisibility spell?
Oh, Cat, because Cat's good at being invisible and silent.
Alright, so you step up to Cat, wave your hands about, say these magic words, reach out, touch Cat, and Cat vanishes from sight.
It worked!
Alright, now someone open the door for me and walk out so that it doesn't look like it's just, you know.
And you realize, Cat, the door has been open the entire time.
So I'm invisible. I'm moving at half speed to try to be stealthy, even though...
Give me a blind stealth check. Okay, you're moving very quietly over the dirt. You don't seem to be making too much noise. You're looking for footprints, that sort of thing, to make sure you're not making any obvious footprints. Doesn't seem to be. You do notice as you're getting a little bit further down this way, you can see that there is a young man, perhaps, or maybe not even man, younger child, perhaps 10, 12, somewhere in that range, who's just kind of standing here very quietly. Getting a bit further down here, Kat, you can see both Falcon and Tybor here, and they seem to be having a conversation as Falcon is pointing to this stall and indicating, you overhear him say, my horse will be quite sufficient to get you back after you've had a meal and a rest.
Are they saying anything else, or are they just...
You're hearing this sort of like trail off of the conversation, and you notice Tybor is kind of like looking towards him, and you can hear him like kind of complaining, but it's at a pretty low volume. From where you're at, you're not making out all the conversation.
Can I look at the kid, or
yes,
young man or whatever? If I move a little bit closer, does it look like... Is he like paying attention in this direction? Like, if I see him move, does it look like he's looking my way, or?
No, he's actually looking to the south, and every now and again you see him turn and look over towards Falcon, and then he looks back. It seems like he is more or less interested in the horse who is close by.
I'm sorry, I don't know where we are.
The group is up here somewhere, if you were looking for that.
No worries, you just helped me realize that I had the you can walk through walls turned on, so I just turned that off.
Can you point me? Hey, Cat.
She's
Can you point me?
invisible,
You
but
don't
I'll
know
go
I'm
ahead and
here.
slide
And
you
also,
up there.
I'm assuming he's not just wandering around by
He's
himself.
not. No, he's not.
Yeah. I assume that's just the player trying to find him.
Yep, no worries.
Yeah. So if I get here, can I hear anything else, or have they stopped talking?
Give me a blind perception check.
I have expertise in this. I'm pretty good.
It's hard to make out much of this as you're listening to them speak. It's again in a quiet volume. You get the impression that overall, I would say you get the impression that Tybor is maybe a little bit flustered or embarrassed with this whole situation. He's trying to speak with Falcon and make some kind of arrangement, and Falcon's kind of has this look of disdain on his face, and you get the impression that he is mostly just humoring Tybor at this point and making these arrangements, but you can tell he really does not like this person at all. You do notice Tybor pretty frequently kind of looks over towards this boy and like kind of scratches his neck each time, as though he feels like he's being watched almost, and he's trying to, put on a brave face for the audience.
Okay. If I can't glean anything else specifically, I'll hang around for like maybe a minute left to see if they move on, or if they don't, I'll start heading back to the group.
After about 30 seconds or so, it seems that this accord that they've discussed has been struck, and you notice Falcon just sort of nods towards the horse and starts making his way back. Just making sure the mysterious hunter didn't have like true sight on his sheet here real quick.
That would be unusual. Hey, carefully drop concentration.
No, I can't do that. I don't know.
I'm back.
All right, as you guys, as you re-enter and get into this room, you notice Falcon enters as well, and you see he just looks at all of you and says, "Okay, so I hope that you have found these accommodations to be to your liking. As I said, dinner will be in the dining hall. Feel free to join me there when you are ready. Corwin will have the dish served in a short while, but he doesn't usually have to cook for this large of a group, at least on this short notice, so please be comfortable and complimentary, because I don't want him to get angry, and then the food gets even worse."
Oh, it's okay. He doesn't even have to cook mine, so that should save him some time, if that helps any.
You see he turns and looks at you once again. "As you say, I will let him," and he just kind of trails off as he's walking out.
Okay, now, I'm going to turn this invisibility off, Cat.
Would have been good to do that before he showed up, so that he didn't notice I was
wanted to, but the DM was talking.
But you're so fucking lucky that he didn't.
Oh, wait a second, I forgot the off switch. I don't know how to... Okay, boom, I found it.
Alright, you drop concentration on your spell, and you notice Cat suddenly appears.
They were just making arrangements for Tybor to get out of here. They don't like each other, obviously. As far as I can tell, something about a horse. I guess he's gonna try to make a break for it later, either today or tomorrow, on his own. I'm not sure if that's a good idea, but it's his life. Actually, maybe we convince him not to do that, because we want to get paid for rescuing him, right?
I don't know about all that. The only thing, though, that...
I want to get paid for rescuing him.
Yes, ma'am. And I give a little bow.
I'm curious, though, about what we plan to do tomorrow. I mean, he brings up a good point. Are we still planning to make our way to Butterskull Ranch? Or do we set our sights on maybe returning to Fenland?
I think it is very likely that we will not find any survivors there. I think he has the right of it that. I do still think that letting the orcs do whatever they want with a large ranch off the trail right in a thoroughfare where people could be traveling is probably not a good idea. We know about it, we should help if we can. That's my position. We just need to be smart about it, because like he said, if we try to fight 24 orcs on an open plain, we're not going to have a good time. We could wait for nightfall or something when most of them are asleep and try to pick off the scouts or watches or something like that. Take them on a few at a time.
Well, that's one of the reasons that I like the idea of luring them into the woods here.
How are we going to lure them when we know they can outrun us?
It's also 30 miles away. We would have to lure them 30 miles back to the woods. It's not like it's just outside.
Well, maybe we can come up with another plan.
But, I just want to raise an issue that's been on my mind. Those totems of Talos. Who's to say that whoever placed them by that logging camp couldn't place them here? If that was the case, then Falcon may have bite off more than he can chew. So we choose to go and help people 30 miles away who we know for sure are dead, or we could look into whatever that is. I know it's a curveball, but it's just been on my mind. The boar, as Talhoun said it, walked out of the woods, it looked at us, human in gesture and nature, and then walked away. Almost like it was just checking in to see what was going on.
Perhaps we can ask Falcon if he's ever seen something like that in his woods. I think they're waiting for us, right? Or did they say it was going to be a few minutes still?
He said we could go there whenever we're ready, and I'm always, I'm ready to eat, yes.
I could definitely eat something.
Whatever we do, we're resting here for the night because we've been moving for all day, basically. So we'll accept his hospitality, and if he can't help us with martial prowess, maybe he can help us with information.
And then on our way out, we call him a coward as a Hail Mary.
Reggie, as you re-enter the dining hall, you can see that the table has a few early bits of food here. You can see a large bowl of some type of vegetable stew. You can see that there is a mug of drink here, a large loaf of bread. You can see a small knife with some butter nearby. And you notice near the end of the table looks to be some raw coiled sausage.
How does Tybor's disposition look?
Very sullen. He's just kind of sitting here next to the table, like almost like a pouty look on his face as he's got his fist in like a clenched fist and his chin's resting on it as he's just looking down at the table.
Is there something vexing you, sir?
You see he looks up towards you and he says, "Oh, I'm just still so distraught about all the dead loggers, of course."
Yes, it is a shame.
Can I insight that, Adam? Does it look like he's just trying to quickly pass it off?
Give me a blind insight check. I would say you can't necessarily insight that exact statement, but this sort of just general attitude of his at the moment, you can. Yes, I would say the impression that you get from him is that he's very unhappy. Why exactly he's unhappy, you're not quite sure. You see Falcon looks at you all as you begin taking your seats. "I hope that this meal will be up to your needs and your desires, but as I said, if it you find it lacking in any way, then just bite your tongue.
I'm sure it will exceed our expectations.
Oh, definitely. Much better than rations. And thank you.
You notice Corwin enters here with another plate. And you see he looks as he's looking towards the table, seeing where to set this kind of stuff, and it looks to contain several more drinks. And you see he just starts setting them down on the table.
Thank you, Corwin.
And you see he nods for it. Yes, it is my pleasure to be able to serve such fine individuals as yourselves. I must say I don't know exactly what turtles and excuse me, I don't know exactly kobolds. Well, good sir, whatever you refer to yourself. I haven't had to serve such individuals in quite some time. I hope you will find it satisfactory.
Oh, it is the most delicious meal we have had in ages.
Oh, thank you, young lady. That is so nice. If you enjoy the stew, then you're certainly going to enjoy the rest of it.
Well, I can't wait.
And you see he just starts throwing these like mugs of beer essentially down on the table. All right, and with that, yeah, he will make his way back to the kitchen, and this seems to be a bit of an ongoing affair as he is heading into the kitchen, doing some cooking, and every now and again bringing stuff back and forth. You do notice Falcon enjoying his drink quite well, drinking these sudsy drinks and enjoying those quite fondly, but you notice each time he drinks them, he like has this look on his face as though you kind of get the impression he wishes he was drinking something else, maybe. Like he just kind of like he's, you know, smiling as he's looking to you guys, engaging in pre-dinner banter, and then he takes a sip and then kind of looks at it and just sets it down kind of thing. But overall, the meal turns out to be decent. Again, it's probably not the greatest food that you've ever had, but more than adequate if you've been living on rations. Is there anything in particular you guys are doing during this meal? Anything you're looking out for, or any kind of conversation you're wanting to strike up?
Yeah, I want to wait until he has a few beers in him and he starts to look like, you know, he's a bit comfortable, and I want to look over and say, so Falcon, this boar we encountered, it stopped and looked at us and studied us and had human eyes, and it was quite curious. Have you encountered anything similar?
And you see he takes another sip of the sudsy ale as he puts it back down and glances towards you on at the side, and he nods slowly. Yes, this world has some very strange things in it. I must say, I have seen several.
And orc activity, has it picked up in your wards recently?
Significantly so, as I have already indicated. Something is pushing the orcs to the west. I don't know, but this talk of the dragon, that seems to be the most likely culprit.
Do you know where they're gathering? Are they just trickling in small groups, or have they set up camp somewhere? Have you found it?
You see he hits his stomach and lets out a loud belch. Blah! Well, the exact location? No, I can't say I have. As I've explained, I just simply deal with the runny bastards once they get into the woods. Where they are beyond the forest line is not my concern.
You've been here for a while. Is there any old shrines or ruins left behind?
Of course there is. This is the Sword Coast, is it not? You will find all sorts of things like that around.
Anything seem like a good place for orcs to gather for you, maybe? If you were to look, or is there something that stands out?
Well, there is there are different locations that I suppose could be possible. Are you familiar with Conneberry?
Not really. I come from the south, way south, so is it along the trail there?
Conneberry, yes, it is indeed along the Tribor Trail. It's you could think of it as a town that is no longer a town. It was a town at one time, some things happened, and nobody really lives there any longer. So it's like a ghost town, I suppose you could... Yeah, ghost town, right. I suppose there's some infrastructure there that the green bastards could be using, but who's to say for sure?
And where is Conneberry? Is it just outside the forest here? Is it before Butterskull Ranch or after it?
Before. It's closer, just if you were to head straight southeast from my lodge, you would find it before too long.
What I don't understand is if they're selling the humans and they tried to sell, they would have gotten, I don't know how much they would have gotten for me too, but if they were selling people, where are they selling people to? And why is nobody stopping that? That's bad.
Who do you expect would stop such a thing?
Well, good people, of course.
Good people? Yes, of course. There are some good people around, but there are not enough to deal with all of the bad things that occur. There's orcs, as I said, becoming a real pandemic on this area. I would kill every last one of them.
So why not give us aid?
Say that again?
I said, so why not give us aid?
You see he turns and looks towards you and looks down at the food that you're eating and the drink that's nearby you, and then raises his eye again and says, do you not consider this aid, giving you a place to rest? I imagine if you have had to rough it in the woods or on the plains, it's not been quite comfortable, but here you will be able to recuperate to your fullest.
Good point.
Yes. Calhoun,
do-
of course he's been giving us.
I appreciate your hospitality, dear Falcon.
And you see he takes another bite here of the stew, and he's kind of watching you this entire time, Calhoun, and as he does this swallow, takes another sip of this ale, sets it back down, and says, now that I think of it, there is one place that perhaps could be associated gathering place for all these orcs, but while you all look capable enough, I don't know if you would be up to the challenge. If it's something that you're willing to risk, though, I can certainly direct you to this odd location. In fact, if you are able to clear it out and make sure there are no threats there whatsoever, I could even give you an award, some type of treasure I have from earlier days.
What are the dangers?
If I knew exactly that, I would be able to probably arrange to have them taken care of. But, you see, there is this, well, it's a ruins, as sort of like your friend here was asking. It's elvish of built. I don't know how long ago exactly, but, well, who knows. It's a ruins, let's just say. And, well, there are strange goings about in this area at different times. It's normally the beasts of the land and sometimes the monstrosities, things that I can handle, but these ruins, well, they give me pause.
Well, if you don't mind me asking, what is your cause of concern, I suppose, for your own well-being?
Well, you see, here at the hunting lodge, I entertain nobles who arrive and they request hunting trips, and we go off in different distances looking for interesting animals to take. Hunt, obviously, the skill is all in finding your prey, taking it down usually before they even know that you are there. But when we were by this location somewhat recently, there was a strange air about the place. I won't say that it is a frightening event, but there was a bit of a caution. I saw the location, I've seen it before, but something about it is different now. It's as though it's alive, but not alive in the standard sense. There's just a feeling. You know how when the hairs on the back of your neck seemingly just stick straight up? It is that kind of a feeling.
I understand. Well, I have a proposition for you here, Falcon.
And you see he takes another bite as he's looking at you and says, proposition.
Well, we are sort of on a mission to sort of procure the Honey Skull Ranch. Perhaps if Butterskull. If we go about this small excursion, investigating and clearing out any danger of this elvish ruin you speak of, you aid us in any form of combat or call to arms, if you will.
I think what he's trying to say, Falcon, is if we help you, will you help us?
Precisely. I've had one too many ales. I apologize.
You're still not thinking very clearly. Do you truly think that you are going to go and take care of this deed, come back, and then somehow we are still going to find living survivors at the Butterskull Ranch?
It's not that we're going to find survivors. It's more or less we kind of want to push back the orcs from having that as a stronghold. I feel as if, given your reputation, your notoriety, if you will, in Phandalin and in these areas, you might be able to help us create some form of army, if you will, militia, towards helping us with this cause.
A militia for Phandalin?
Well, or the surviving areas. You seem to be well known.
Yes, I suppose that I am, as well known as somebody in this backwater area can be. But again, what specifically are you asking me to do?
Can't help you, Talhoun. I don't know what you're trying to ask.
Yeah, I'm just trying to get some help, man.
That help is very generic in what it is that you're looking for. This makes me very reluctant to simply agree because I don't know what it is that I would be agreeing to. If you're asking for help and then randomly are going to come back here at some time and throw some trouble at my feet and say, you owe me a favor now, these are the kind of situations I try to avoid.
I totally understand. I will drop the Butterskull Ranch.
If you don't mind, Falcon, we'll take the night to rest and conversate about your proposal. Could we answer you in the morning?
You can, but understand, this is not a proposal. It is simply an option if you wish to choose to do so. It is not a grave, immediate need. As I said, there's no obvious danger at the moment. It's just a uncomfortable feeling. I don't like the idea of this ruins perhaps serving as a host or a home to odd beasts and creatures. If there is something there, then I would like it cleared out. But right now I have no information to state that anything is there. So I would assume that you would understand what I'm saying, that this is low priority.
Yeah, we get it.
Then please, take as much time as you like. Enjoy the rest of the meal. And when you are finished with your meal, feel free to head back to the barn.
And how far away is the spot that you're getting the bad feeling about?
Travel-wise, it would take you less than a day to get there, but it is all going through the woods, so you'd have to be comfortable doing so and be familiar with the terrain. Alright guys, is there anything else in particular you want to do during this meal, or any other questions you would like to ask of Falcon before you guys finish up your meal and retire?
I can't think of anything.
Yeah, hearing nothing, I will assume you guys are good then. So you guys finish up your meal. Again, overall it's decent, not great, probably certainly not up to the standards that you guys are used to when it comes to Finn's cooking, though it is better than rations, so call it a win on the balance. You guys finish up your meal, eat some, drink some, and eventually start making your way back to the bar. And I'll just go ahead and start sliding you guys over there just for reference so we know everybody's at.
Well, I'm game to do the weird fairy forest adventure thing proposed by our host.
He did feed us, and it was good, too. It wasn't overcooked or anything.
Of course it wasn't overcooked. I agree. Bryn?
Yes, I am in. What do you guys think?
I don't want to walk 30 miles to Butterskull Ranch. It sounds like it's closer to just go to this place here in the woods.
I wonder if the orcs are gonna come to us. Now, somebody said earlier that later on, if we go over there, maybe we'll be able to find them. Maybe we see if they have scouts out there. And instead of us just getting all 20 at a time, maybe we get like 3.
It's certainly possible. If we're attacking them, we set the terms of engagement, not them like last time, so...
Well, I think going to Butterskull Ranch without our friend would be difficult. And perhaps we should explore this thing in the forest that he suggested first. Maybe the circumstances of the orcs will have changed.
This is true, but I don't think we're going to get Falcon to be able to leave here and go and help us.
He also said he has people coming over here in a couple days, and that would be a very bad host if he wasn't here.
Yeah, this place almost reminds me of a glorified country club.
You're real quiet again there, Vic.
Ah, why? Why does that keep happening?
It sounds like you're just too far away from your mic, to be honest. Alright, so it sounds like we got some votes for do this task that Falcon has mentioned about in the woods. Is anybody of a different mind? Okay, sounds like you guys are settled then on ignoring Butterskull Ranch for now and heading to this sort of lower priority, as Falcon has indicated to you, issue with these ruins in the woods.
I'm game.
Yep.
Alright, fair enough. So then, other than enjoying the rest of your night here and getting your long rest here in the barn, is there anything in particular you guys would like to do? Okay, hearing nothing, I will...
Adam,
yeah,
just
go
real
ahead.
quick, my apologies. The guy that came with us and everything, is he staying in our room as well?
Tybor is not.
Okay, alright, thanks.
Alright, so it sounds like you guys are good with what has occurred so far. So we will assume you guys managed to sleep overnight here in the barn. You find that the accommodations are actually quite comfortable. Perhaps most comfortable are these pillows. The pillows just seem to be really soft and really support your heads, and you just feel like, yeah, this was almost as good as sleeping in an inn, or maybe just as good as sleeping in an inn. I'll go ahead and apply a long rest to the group. So as a reminder, with our house rule, you have to be in an area that is truly safe, not just out in the woods or overnight, that sort of thing. And obviously this qualifies as a completely safe area, so you guys are eligible for the long rest, and that has been applied.
Do we level up to 4 here?
You do not, unfortunately.
Oh. That would have cured my tummy ache.
I was just gonna say Brian came back for a level up. That's what.
All right, so you guys wake up in the morning and find that things are most as you left them. Having spent a bit of time here at Falcon's Hunting Lodge, you can see that the morning brings with it the sunlight, which is rising. There's a lot of sound of birds and things in the woods that are echoing throughout the hunting lodge, and it seems as though Corwin is up early. You can see he's outside and has like a rake, and he's cleaning up the different piles of leaves and things from the fallen trees. Alright, so now that you guys are awake and it sounds like your plan is set, Kurtu heads out early and assists Corwin a bit with the cleanup. How about the rest of you?
I'm gonna go see if they have any tea in the dining hall. Or in that little kitchenette area thing.
You don't find that anything is actually ready, but as you inquire, Falcon does ask Corwin to prepare some stuff, and this doesn't take too long, and eventually there is some morning beverages available for you.
Very nice. I think I think while I'm sitting with Falcon in the kitchen dining hall area kind of thing, while we're waiting, I'm gonna kind of apologize for being, I guess, grouchy. Just the road.
You see he nods towards you and kind of like rubs at his temple as you get the impression of someone who maybe is shaking off a minor hangover. And you see he nods toward you and he says, "It is not, no worry, do not worry yourself too much about this. We all have our nights that are not our best. As long as everything works on from here on out, I have no issues."
Yes, yeah, I appreciate your hospitality here, giving us somewhere to rest. I feel wonderful.
I'm glad to hear it. Yes, I've been told by many travelers that the cots are quite comfortable.
I think I might want to, well, I guess we'll wait for my party, but I think we might go through with that mission thing that you have offered us.
Ah, so you decided that you wish to check out the ruins. Just as well, as I've explained, I can't imagine that anybody has survived at Butterskull Ranch.
Yeah. And I apologize again for the surly behavior. The idea of death does not sit right with me, especially those with brandishing idols of Talos.
Indeed, those orcs and anybody that helps them all deserve to die a very horrible death.
And I nod, agreed, and I go back to the room with my tea.
Alright, are there any other morning preparations anybody would like to take, or anything that they're doing before you guys decide to leave the hunting lodge and try to find your way to this ruins?
Bryn will get some coffee to go.
Cup of joe to go, alright.
Well, he did say that it was hard to get to unless you know the route. So obviously, I think we need to kind of figure that out a little bit.
Sure. So it sounds like you would like to talk up Falcon and see if he can give you some more specific instructions of how to get to the ruins.
Exactly, because a Falcon, he knows how to get there, and we don't.
All right, fair enough. So in the essence of time, what we will say is that as you guys make your way back, all of you are the subset of you that are willing to head back to speak with Falcon. He doesn't have a map per se, but he has sort of a piece of parchment that he is going to loosely indicate, like you're here, kind of writes a dot and then does this type of thing to give you an indication of where it's going to be. And to reference that, I will take us over to the Sword Coast map. All right, so from the lodge itself, where you guys are currently at, Falcon indicates that these ruins are primarily east of the lodge, and he indicates that you're going to go around and essentially head northeast before heading like southeast kind of thing. Obviously these are hexes, so you're not really going way far out of your way type of deal, but from a loose understanding of how you're traveling, you know, you're kind of edging around this northeast way before heading southeast. Altogether it's mostly a straight path, just slightly curved, I guess you could say. So with these instructions, you can think of this as, you know, sort of if you see this large rock and then there's this collection of where there's a copse of trees that are a little bit more like white pines rather than the brown, you know, and he kind of gives these level of detail, and as you're listening you feel like you've got enough information that you think you can get there unless you really, really mess up.
Now, what happens if we come across a guy that's singing in the trees? We saw him before and we weren't sure who he was, so do you know of a singing boy?
And you see he turns and nods towards you and he says, yes, I have seen him before. He's a very curious fellow. I haven't quite figured out his exact story yet, but I've seen him around here multiple times. He seems to be, I don't know, looking for somebody. I don't understand the draw, but more surprisingly, I'm somewhat surprised that he has managed to survive this whole time.
Oh yeah, that reminds me. Have you seen any kind of animals, most notably boars, who act in a, I guess, a human-like behavior, has some form of conscious sentience?
You notice he rubs at his temples and says, I swear we spoke about this yesterday. Did we not?
If we did,
but he got very drunk.
I got very drunk.
Ask your friends. I don't like repeating myself.
He was also hit by one of the orcs hit him in the head, so sometimes we have to excuse him.
And you notice Falcon nods. Yes, I have had friends like that before too. Alright, is there any other preparations you guys would like to take before you make your way looking for these ruins?
How are we doing on rations?
I'm fine. I also have a lot of boar meat. We'll probably need to cook that for lunch.
Oh, maybe we could give some of it to Falcon. I mean, you guys were worried about it spoiling, so I wasn't, but you guys were.
Hey guys, man, my stomach hurt last night. How did it go?
He's not going to help us with our Butterskull Ranch investigation, but he has mentioned there's a ruin nearby that we could check out that might have something to do with something. And perhaps, if we do this favor for him, he said he wouldn't. He said he still wouldn't do it, but it might make him more amenable to us in the future.
He at least said he'd give us some treasure.
Oh, that's cool. So, last night, late, I made a little potion. It's another experimental thing. Hey, Bryn, come here. I tap you on the knee.
Why are you always trying your experiments on me? What is this?
He thinks you're pretty, that's why.
Yes, you're very pretty. But she's also a good friend of mine, so you stop it! And I point my finger at little Kirku. You're shorter than me. Wait, are you? I don't think so. But I stand on my tippy toes to make you
I
shorter.
think we talked about I'm a couple of inches shorter, but not according to Kurtu. He's taller according to him, but he's not.
I met her first. Bryn, come down here. I made this last night, and it's a different color than anything else I've ever made. But you should have it. You should drink it before battle. Let's see what it does. It should be good. It's always good. It's definitely good. It's definitely good.
She'll smell it.
What do you imagine it smells like?
Let's see. It smells like chocolate. If chocolate exists in Faerun.
I'm sure, yeah. They've got cocoa coming from somewhere in Faerun, I'm sure.
And when you smell it, you feel bold. It kind of gives you a jolt.
Oh, it's caffeinated coffee.
Yeah, maybe. But don't drink it now. Wait. Don't be like Talhoun. He just drinks it right away. Wait
It's
for
an
the
Americana.
right time.
Well, it doesn't smell offensive, so I will keep it, and if we come across something that looks aggressive, I will down it quickly. Thank you.
Right. So he'll see him, takes a couple of tablets and pops it in his mouth and chews on it. Wow. All right. So I have some boar meat too. Man, I overslept. We ready? Where are we going? Let's go.
I will say, you guys see, as Reggie finishes up his meditation, he kind of comes around the corner there, and you can see, like, right over his right shoulder, there's quite a large mushroom that's now kind of growing out of the shell. It's definitely bigger than any one you've seen before, and it wasn't there yesterday, and it kind of forced it into existence. Something new he's trying, but it's definitely noticeable.
Did that grow on your shell overnight? Did you find something disagreeable in your cot, Reggie?
No. Do you remember that half ogre orc guy that we pulled, that Talhoun and I pulled that thing out of his leg?
Oh, yes.
So I've been germinating that within my shell and kind of dousing it with healing magic as it's growing, and I've forced it to grow this way instead of its previous way. I can kind of throw this, and if you see this standing out in the open of the battle, if you go and stand by it and touch it, it will heal you. At least that's the experiment. It should.
Well, I will keep an eye out for it. Seems very impressive if it can do that.
We'll see. I also have something I think can paralyze the orcs. Another more catatonic, I guess you could say, a spore that I've been experimenting with. But I'm ready, if everyone else is.
So I'm gonna walk up to oh my gosh, I forgot her name. Misa, yes. I was going to Maesta.
Maeston?
Yeah, raw girl. Hey, so I also made this little treat for you, and I think the other one bad. I would just throw it away. If I were you, just right now, just take it, just throw it away. This one's better. Okay, so you should have this one. So I'm gonna give her a treat. It's 2 temporary hit points she can take as a bonus action there, Adam.
All right, she will take that with a smile as she clasps your hand and just pats it very gently in her grandmotherly way.
Oh, thank you.
All right, sounds like you guys are prepared to start making your way over to this ruins in the woods. All right, hearing no disagreement, I will take that as a yes, that you guys are indeed ready to head over. All right, so normally I don't do this, but as this is an introductory campaign, I will throw out there that this is a little bit more challenging than what you guys are currently capable of handling. It doesn't mean you won't be able to do this. I'm just giving you the warning that be careful, keep your wits about you, and remember that running is not necessarily a bad thing. If you get in over your heads, having an escape plan is always valuable. So again, being that this is an introductory campaign, I'm just throwing you guys that little warning really quick. There is a note in here that says characters of your level can survive the challenges of this if, you know, basically they're careful, that kind of thing.
Oh, we gotta put on our big boy pants.
and thinking caps and work together as a team and all that fun stuff.
We're all gonna fucking die. Let's go, boys.
Perfect time for me to try something reckless.
All right, as long as
What could
we're
go
all on the
wrong?
same page, right? Okay, so you guys have the instructions of where it is that you're headed. Who would like to lead the group through these forests and following those instructions?
Somebody with survival, right? Do we have anyone with survival?
I think I could probably make a decent way through the wood. What about you, Bryn? Equally adept?
Yes, I can go.
Why don't you lead? You're a bit more ferocious than I, but I will be right there beside you, and we can work together.
Very well.
Okay, so Bryn, you begin leading the group through the woods as you exit the hunting lodge and start pushing through the more thick forest after you get a short distance away from the lodge. Go ahead and throw me a blind survival check. This will be made at advantage as you've been given good directions here by Falcon. So unless you make unfortunate decisions here, you should be fine. As a reminder, for the blind check to work, you will have to have your token selected, and on this map, they're all in the lower left corner. All right. That did work, yes. So you begin leading the group and heading through the forest here. As you do so, you travel for a distance of about maybe, say, 4 hours or so, and eventually you start to hear the sound of running water, and you realize that even with these great instructions, and even with you guys all paying attention, somehow you have gone very much off course. You must have gotten turned around very quickly because you find yourself right next to the water. And as you get yourself your bearings and you try to realize like what you know about this area, what these instructions were to you, realize you're actually here when you had intended to go this way. Being that, or you can't see that, you intended to go northeast, but essentially you had gone north. So instead of going like this, you went like this. Now, being at this area, again, with the rivers, it makes for great natural landmarks. This, you know, you discover this pretty quickly, but you realize that had you been going through thick forest without any obvious, you know, landmarks like a large river kind of thing, you could be hopelessly lost at this point. But instead, this turns out to be a minor annoyance as you find yourself at this small trickle of a river that is growing as it goes westward, and you realize you need to turn back east.
Maybe let me try to get us back on path, yeah?
Go ahead. I think I didn't work too well as our navigator.
All right, Reggie, you try your hand at this. Now that you're not starting at the same place, those instructions aren't going to work out so well, so this will not be an advantage, but go ahead and give me a blind check.
I'm going to use one of my hit dice at him.
All right, feel free to roll that, deduct it, and we will add that to the roll. Okay, yes, you do manage to get back on track. Luckily, you spent that hit die, otherwise you would not have. But yes, you do find yourself moving back in the proper direction and realizing that you're on the right track. You continue following these instructions, moving through this overgrowth as best that you can. You guys have been traveling for probably a good 6 hours or so now through these heavy woods as you find yourself to this area and realize again that this is pretty thick forest. One thing that really sticks out to you here as you're getting near the end of this bit of your travel is in this section of the woods there's a slight clearing where you notice there is this very large collection of oversized bushes. So you're looking through, you step through the woods, you can kind of see them off a little bit of the distance, you know, still good enough light in the air and all of that. You push through and get a little into this clearing. So about 25 feet after this edge of the woods, you see again this collection of bushes. There might be a dozen or more of these, and they're all very close together. The way they're grown, think of them as sort of like shrubs, right? Like people would grow near to make almost like a shrub wall kind of thing. But these are more big and bushy rather than rectangular. And they're all very close together, so it gives this impression almost of like a hill made of brushery. that is coming from the ground. Though obviously when you look at the base, you can certainly see roots. You can see the base of them, but the top, which extends a good 12 feet into the air or so, is just very thick green bush, and you notice several large red berries that seem to stick through.
I just want to go on record as that was pretty good, right? I found out.
That was much better.
But, yeah. Well, what do we do now?
Does anybody know what these red berries are?
Yeah, I could take a look, for sure. Do we see any movement? Anything out there?
Give me a blind perception check as you scan around looking for anything out of the ordinary.
Me?
Yes. No, you don't see anything out of the ordinary. You hear the normal sounds you'd expect from animals, birds, that sort of thing, just in the area, but nothing that causes you any kind of concern.
Maybe we check the berries later.
Oh, we could try check them real quick.
I don't know. I mean,
I'd see what they are. I was reading there earlier before the game started. I was reading the herbalism kit. It says it gives me proficiency bonus to identify herbs, I guess plants. So I should have at least a proficiency in it.
I mean, yeah, I've got my kit as well. It's just the only thing is that it's kind of opportunistic for predators. Just casually getting berries. I mean, you're quite small.
Oh, okay, we can move on. I don't really care. There's probably a lot of berries in this forest. No biggie. Let's go.
I can go with you if you want.
Safety is no accident. That's what I've always said.
And I didn't quite hear the full description there, Adam, but there's just these berries. That's the most interesting thing. There wasn't any.
It's a large green collection of shrubberies. So think of it as separate shrubs that are all very large, and they're all bundled very close together. So if you took one of them by itself, it's probably 15 feet in diameter and like 7 to 8 feet tall from ground to top of the shrub. But there's about a dozen of them, based on quick look, that seem to all be growing right next to each other, which just creates this very large collection of this shrubbery. And you can see several of these different red berries poking out through the shrubberies.
Now, did you mention it looked man-made at all or natural?
Yeah, I didn't mention anything about man-made.
Oh.
You don't see anything here that would give you any indication of being man-made.
Okay, like it's an actual hedge protecting something.
Yeah, it's not like formed in a circle, is it?
Yeah. But what's it called? A topiary or something?
Topiary?
Topiary.
It is indeed circular, but you don't get the impression that just from where you're standing at the edge of the forest, as you're looking at the edge of the shrubbery, you don't get the impression that this is, again, man-made or designed to block vision to something. It just looks like a strange growth in this area.
Definitely not like the ruins that Falcon had described to us, right?
Correct.
Well, let's quickly go past, grab a handful of Finn, and maybe you can study them while we're walking.
Yeah. I need to see what they are. Bryn, come on, let's go.
Alright, so it sounds like Finn and Bryn are going to go up closer to the shrubbery and try to examine the berries.
Yes.
I'm gonna just keep a really sharp eye at them.
Okay.
Scanning around them, hoping if I see movement or anything to give them a good warning.
Okay.
Surprise, surprise, I'll be ready to blast something.
Oh, come on, guys, relax. It's just a bunch of berries.
Okay, yeah, as you get a bit closer here, Finn, you can start to get this scent of sweet, like fruit. And as you're getting closer, you're looking at these berries. The ones that are easiest to spot, like right at the edge of the shrubberies, look to be a bit palish red, right? And you can get this strong fruit smell. Think of it mostly as maybe probably closest to like a strawberry, and they just kind of hang here very tantalizingly so.
Ooh. Can I identify them or recognize them in any way?
You wish to pluck one, or are you just trying to recognize it from a visual perspective?
Yeah, from a visual perspective with my
Give
herbalism.
me a blind, I'm going to call this nature check. You don't recognize this particular variety. It does look like something, again, shape-wise, if you think of what a blackberry looks like, think of that, but it's red. So probably closest to a raspberry would be what you would approximate it to, but it doesn't look exactly like a raspberry.
I don't recognize it. All right,
You do not.
I'll pluck one.
All right, you pluck one. It comes off of the shrubbery fairly easily.
Okay, I'll take another one. I'll take a good half dozen. How about that? How
As
big
you
are they? Oh, like blackberry.
Yeah, as you start collecting them, though, you're surprised to see after you pick off the second, the third one, they're all a little bit palish red, but as you're looking into the shrubbery, you can notice deeper red ones, and even further in, so deep that they actually look purplish.
Now you're tugging on my gnomish curiosity. Well, I am a gnome. Let me reach in there for those ones. I'll grab one of those.
All right, you start
Wait
reaching.
a second. Before you reach in, I could use my mage hand if you want.
Oh, well, if you want, I just want them. I don't know
But
what
they
you guys.
might have thorns, and if you reach in, it might stick you.
Oh, you guys are so smart. I'm just an innkeeper who cooks. You're right. Okay, go for it. Try it.
I can try. Okay.
Adam, I'll use Mage Hand and pluck the evil fruit from.
So it
the
sounds
evil
like you
forbidden-
wish to get to the edge of the shrubbery, and then as far as your mage hand can go in and picking those, right? And then your range of mage hand's 30 feet?
Yeah, I'm going to be honest, I don't want to get, like, I mean, if I can do it from 10 feet away, if that makes sense. Then
You can. You sure can, but you're getting pale red berries. Those tantalizingly bright red and then to purplish berries are more like 25 for the deeper red, 35 feet in for the really purplish ones.
Oh, I'm not that interested in them, no. So I'll stand away, like 5 feet away from it, so I'm not standing next to it, if that makes sense.
Sure, yeah.
I want a 5 feet barrier between us. And then I will go in, I will put the mage hand, and if it's not the best purplish one, then who cares?
Fair enough. All right, so I've got Bryn and Finn right next to the shrubbery. I've got Kurtu 5 feet away from the shrubbery, manipulating with Mage Hand. The rest of the group, I presume, is still back in the tree line, which would be like another 10 feet back. Have I misrepresented where anybody's at?
Ominous question, but I think you're accurate.
All right, fair enough. All right, so as you guys are watching all of this occur, Kat and... let's see, Bryn, I don't see your passive perception right on screen there. If you can just tell me what it is real quick and then add it to your display.
Well, it says 12.
I think it's because it's
oh, sorry, it's so far down. I didn't see that last line. My bad. It is 12. I see it there. Okay, so just Kat then. So Kat, you hear the sound of a coquettish giggle come from within the shrubbery as you notice the little kobold stretching out with his mage hand. And as this little giggle is uttered out and then you hear it and your ears perk up, that's where we're going to take our break.
But of course. All right, guys. See you in 15.
All right, we're back on the second half, folks, where the group is face to face with a berry bush. Doesn't sound very frightening, does it? But let's see what happens. All right, so Kurtu, you are currently manipulating the bush here with your mage hand, trying to reach in there to pluck out one of these darker red berries, as we've got both Finn and Bryn very close to the bush, and we have the rest of the group near the back. Kat, as you're near the tree line and trying to be very aware of what is occurring, you suddenly heard this giggle that seems to come from inside the center of this bush area. What do you do?
I have time to react, or is shit happening?
Depends on what you want to do to react.
I just want to lift my crossbow and say, "Company, something in the bush."
All right, as you say this, and Kurtu, you're focusing with your mage hand, reaching out carefully. Surprisingly, you notice the berry that you're reaching for, it seems like it's shifting backwards away from you. But that couldn't be possible, could it?
What I've learned, it's just about anything is possible. And hearing that he said something's in the bush, I'm going to turn off my mage hand.
All right, the mage hand winks out of existence, and you're staring at this large shrubbery with berries.
Hey, I thought I saw a berry move. Like it wanted me to, like, try to reach closer. And something's, yeah.
Maybe we leave the moving berries alone. I suspect that something is trying to lure you deeper inside.
Yes, I'm not sure how I feel about these berries.
Bryn, as you are fairly close up to the bush here, along with Finn, and you're looking at them carefully, you think you spot a humanoid face, but perhaps just the eye, through the green of the shrubbery, and it blends in so well that you think you see it for just a second, and then it's gone.
Whoa! I'll jump back. Did you see that? Did you see that face in the berry bushes?
He did not.
Run away from the face.
Yes, I think we should back off, seeing as how the DM warned us about this earlier.
I am. I'm going to leave. If you don't want to share your berries, you don't have to.
I'll slowly back away.
As will I, I'm sure.
Okay, Bryn and Finn slowly back away, and the group reconverges at the edge of the woods. As you look at each other and kind of, let's say, well, this is kind of strange, and you're looking at each other figuring out what, maybe we're just going to go around this and avoid this entire thing, and you sort of glance back, you can't help but notice some of these darker red berries seem to be closer towards the edge. They weren't there before, though.
Can we just move before this becomes
Cat, I can reach it now, Cat. I can just go over there and get it.
They're taunting us with these berries.
Are the berries really that important?
No, it's just that I don't know what they are, you see?
Can I kind of like reach out and like horse collar Finn?
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
We'll survive without them.
Oh, but they're so beautiful.
We are going to cook the boar for lunch. We don't need berries.
All right.
Some animals have traps where they try to entangle you. I think this is an entanglement plant.
Okay, Talhuno, stop.
Let him go.
But I got 3 of these. Look.
Well, let's go. Let's find these ruins.
Alright, sounds like you guys would like to circle around the berry bush.
Correct.
Alright, as you all go around the berry bush, you certainly can hear the sound, each of you sort of at different times, of these little, very quiet laughs. But you continue on, not sure what was going on there, and plunging your way further through the woods. It takes another few hours of travel. You're getting to the point where you're starting to push to that exhaustion limit before you eventually find your way to the outskirts of these ruins. As you're looking at them, you can certainly see that there is some type of a structure here, so I'll give you the description. Following the trail through the woods, you come to a foggy clearing in the midst of which stands a crumbling 2-story manse, all but hidden beneath thorny ivy. The large house is set atop a 6-foot-high stone foundation, and the main entrance has a balcony above it. Pumpkins grow wild in patches around the manse, with several wild boars feeding among them. The boars snort with contempt as you draw near.
More freaking boars.
Is this the part where we're supposed to be careful?
Ideally, we should always be being careful.
Oh, right. Well, there's Thanksgiving and Christmas right over there.
Hey, Talhun, do you recognize these? Were these the same animals you saw before?
That's a good question, Adam.
They certainly look like boars.
Well, I mean, do they have like human-like expressions on their face?
No, they all seem to be snouts into this roughage here, eating at different greenage or pumpkins.
Nope, these do not look like the same boars.
I don't want to say it out loud, but we don't need MEAT anymore, so let's not bother them.
They also look a lot smaller than the ones that we fought before.
Adam, does this seem to be more in line with what Falcon was explaining to us?
It does indeed.
City got an uneasy feeling about the place. What's the plan, guys?
Well, there's an entrance. Looks like an entrance up north. How tall did we say this is? The house above its foundation?
The large house is set atop a 6-foot-high stone foundation, and the main entrance has a balcony above it.
Okay,
So
so I'm
from
not sure.
from a vertical perspective, everything you're seeing right now is on the first level. So think of it as a level set on top of the level that you're seeing. From where you're standing right now, Kat, you can see something through that window.
That's what I was gonna ask, if I should be able to see this or not. Hey, guys, there's something inside. It looks like... I can't quite make out what it looks like, but, it's got a health bar.
It look like dinner?
It looks like some kind of... It looks like someone is home. Someone or something.
What's the hell? Put me on my... Hey, Kurtu, put me on your shoulders. Maybe I can see.
That is a person of some kind, for sure.
All right, as you guys are all moving to a spot where you can have a better view through the window, and thus the individual inside can have a view outwards, I'd like all of you guys to throw me a quick... I mean, you guys really aren't trying to be stealthy here, so I think I'm just going to give this individual a perception check to see if
I
he
think
spots
we
it.
said we were being careful.
Yeah, careful is one thing, but you're kind of out in the open, right? Where, what I'll do is, since I want to put more dice in you guys' hands, I'll let all you guys roll stealth, but I'll say this will be at disadvantage. So go ahead and throw me blind stealth checks, please.
Oh,
No, well,
No, I did that as a joke, but then he actually said it.
All right, yeah, so as you guys are trying to be careful, right, you step out into this area, you notice that as you're looking through this window, this individual looks and sees at least some of you there as well. As you get a better look at this individual, I would say you can certainly tell they have an orcish lineage about them, as you recognize some of the features of orcs, and you notice that as the individual spots you and realizes you spot it, it seems to pretty quickly move backwards.
Hey guys, we've been spotted. This is no longer a stealth mission.
Break down the door.
I can turn you invisible, Cat, and you can go in there and stab him in the back.
Him and whatever else is in there. I don't know if this is a good idea anymore.
What if they command those boars to attack us? Why don't we take one of them out, or a couple of them?
what are they doing, Adam? Are they looking at us or grazing like cattle?
The boars, yeah, they seem
Yeah.
to be just their snouts in this greenage, and the pumpkins, and seem to be just eating up a storm.
They're just eating.
If I move up, like maybe to here, Adam, can I spend some time looking over the boars? Do any of them look like they're actually not eating? Like maybe they're faking it?
Give me a blind insight check. No, as far as you can tell, they all seem to be eating this roughage.
Hey, Adam, I think I remember you last time saying that the boars that we, well, let's just say had for lunch, right, were big and large and kind of sounded like it was bigger than normal. What about these guys?
So the ones that you fought in the off the river were actually giant boars. These look to be normal boars.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
So, I know you guys like to knock. Is that the plan here? Just gonna go knock?
He didn't look very friendly.
Does that
There was
change
some
the
kind
way
of
we-
war paint or face paint or...
Maybe we should just go around the building some more and take a look.
Sure. But they know we're here now, so... if they're hostile, they're preparing defenses inside.
I know, but maybe we get another angle and another look. Better than using the... I'm not knocking at that door. Nope.
We head around the north side then.
Yes, let's go north.
I wouldn't use the path either. I would... Okay, or we're gonna use the path. I'm going in through the trees. That's what I'm doing.
Misa, come on, you gotta keep up.
I'm right behind you, dear.
Anything they can do, we can do better.
Dang, she must have been a rogue. Did you see she used the dash action?
More boars back here.
Another door also. We're supposed to inspect the ruins, so maybe we go inside, yeah?
We were warned by divine providence that we need to be careful. I think that has gone out the window at this point.
Yeah. Although we did say we were being careful at the beginning. Do note it, and you can replay that back. But the boars, these guys are just munching on pumpkin. I'm kind of curious about that pumpkin. What's good?
It seems strange that there's one and only one in every patch, does it not?
Oh,
Maybe we can introduce them to the berries that we met, and maybe they can go eat the berries.
Somebody try to go inside, see what happens.
This feels very unsafe.
So Reggie says that, I say, not it.
I guess I will. If there's anybody in here who follows Talos.
Well, he's going to die. Can we make somebody invisible first for the next one?
Well, if we don't do this as a party, then...
Here's a question. We've been walking all day. They're now expecting us. What if we just back off, go back into the woods, spend the night, maybe it lulls them into a false sense of security that we were just passing by, and then we come back in the morning?
Yeah, we could just walk down this road where it leads up here to the north.
But the orcs, you said, were able to attack you guys in the middle of a cave in pitch black darkness. I think if we attack at night, we'll be at a disadvantage. Especially because Talhoun can't see.
Can't see... Well, good point.
I think taking a break for a moment and coming up with a better plan than the shit show we have now, it's probably a good idea.
And I'm already tired. I got little feet.
I just realized it's kind of lame. I can't make an elixir of dark vision. That's lame.
I just think if we barge in there now, they know we're here. If they're not friendly, and no orc or whatever those things are that we've met so far has been friendly, we're going to have a very bad time.
And that picture, it had a lot of blood and sharp teeth.
They did not look friendly to me.
Tahun, come on. We're just passing through.
I don't quite understand the plan. I mean, like, even if we
Wrong
return later,
direction. Bye.
the plan is just going to be to go in the door. I just don't... Are we trying to be sneaky? Is that the plan?
We're trying to arrange a situation where they are not obviously aware of our presence, which they are right now. If we back off, maybe they think we moved on.
The entire place is surrounded by boars. How are we going to sneak past 12 boars?
You say these boars can talk?
I don't think that one boar per every single pumpkin patch is a coincidence, not to mention the ones that Talhoun saw.
Yeah, given all the evidence.
No matter what direction we come in, no matter how we plan this, we're going to be seen.
Yeah, but we're already tired.
I mean, I get it. I mean, we can
Why
take a
don't-
rest and we can come up with a plan, but the plan is just going to be either we kill all the boars and then go inside, or we try to sneak past the boars and go inside.
No. We should look, here's what we should probably do. Listen up. We should probably... I think Cat's right. Obviously, the cat's out of the bag. Sorry, Cat. And we need to move north. And we need to just kind of camp out a little bit and come up with a plan. I'll cook us something nice, some boar meat with some berries, and maybe not the berries, and some potatoes. It'll be perfect. And then we have a fresh belly, nice short rest, come in, reevaluate.
Okay.
Does anybody
Sounds
have
a bunch
like?
of scaredy cats?
Does anybody have invisibility or flying? I could try and climb.
I can make a potion that makes you fly if you want.
Maybe.
But if we send somebody invisible in, they're by themselves. So that's...
No, I could send 2 people. I've got invisibility for 2. It's powerful invisibility.
Or just case the joint and then come back. I don't know, I just feel like waltzing through the front door is asking for death.
This is the side door here.
Or a side door.
Makes a big difference. Do you want...
I just think you guys are overlooking the halo of boars that wrap around this place. I mean, no matter how we slice it, we're going to be outnumbered one way or another.
Well, speaking of slicing, I have bacon and rosemary
Oh,
cut
yum, yum, yum.
red potatoes kind of grilled on the skillet. So good.
I vote for that.
So, Red, do you think we should just kill all the boars on the outside?
Or draw them away, one or the other.
We could try to entice them with those berries you found, I guess. I don't know if they're going to respond. If they are trained animals, they'll probably just stay where they are, but...
Somebody just steal a pumpkin.
And then we'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 boars attacking us. Okay.
Okay, but, I mean, why did we come here? I mean, we can just circle back around and go back to Fendelin if we want, I mean...
That is true. We don't know Falcon anything. He refused to help us, so... Maybe fuck this? We already fucked it up.
I don't think we fucked it up. I think that there's an impossible solution to what you're thinking. There's no way we could possibly stealth in here. So the sneaking in is kind of out of the picture. I mean, there's look at all the boars. Every entrance
I think it's
is covered.
Maybe it's because you're a turtle. You think all animals are as smart as you are.
Okay, then just go.
I was just out of character. Before we got to this area, Adam had said that right before we hit exhaustion kind of thing. That's kind of a key thing I'm looking at as well.
So for mechanic purposes, just as an FYI, you can travel about 8 hours per day, and if you continue traveling beyond that, you risk exhaustion. So moving around in a tactical capacity like this would not risk exhaustion, but obviously if you're adventuring for several hours now, then sure it could.
What if we have to, run away?
Then yes, that certainly could be hampered if you had to run away far distances.
That's my concern.
Does anybody know if boars can see in the dark? I don't know. I can't. I don't know if they can.
I don't know either.
They can.
I know how to cook them.
I'm sure they have very good senses of smell, too. It's not only sight that we have to worry about.
You described the actions and things back at the loggers camp as humanistic, so we don't even know if every single one of those is a real boar. I get that we want to be safe, but I don't really think there's a safe way to go about this.
What happens if we try to kill a couple of them? Do you think they'd replace them within a day? But what if we attack and then we kick the bee's nest and whatever's in there comes out in addition to all these things?
We only saw one thing inside, though.
One thing so far, but we
so
barely cased the joint.
What is your recommendation, Reggie? What are you thinking? You're a wise turtle.
There's 3 boars here facing us. There's 7 of us. 2 per boar, with one group having 3. We could take them out in a synchronized attack. Shouldn't be too hard to knock down 3 boars quickly.
I see 5. Look down there.
Yeah, I see those too, but we would have time before they would reach us. These 3 in front of us. We knock them down quickly, get inside, barricade the door. Then all we have is what's inside to deal with.
What if there's a fuck ton of shit inside? We don't know anything about what's inside.
Why don't we just go inside?
One bit of information, because I just heard barricade the door, so I just want to make sure you guys visually what you're seeing. This here is an open doorway, and you can tell that there is no door on the hinges. There's splinters of where a door used to be, but there is no actual door here.
And they are called ruins, so we're just kind of assuming this here's kind of a beat down place, Adam.
I would say, based on your visual depiction, yes. This looks, when you heard the term ruins, you might have thought like stone fortification or something like that. This reminds you almost of like a woodland mansion, but that has fallen into supreme disuse, and yes, it is very much a ruined mansion.
And also, we have to remember, just because the creature was ugly doesn't mean it's evil.
Yeah, the blood smeared all over its face was very inviting.
I tell you, I've had dinners like that. I'm just saying.
And you're not evil.
Not no.
My thought, though, is the connection of boars, it cannot be overlooked.
I'm not from around here, so I don't know. Are boars eat? I don't know. Are they bad? I don't know. They taste good. I don't know.
Me neither, but if these orcs are worshipping Talos and using these fortitudes for its gatherings and things of that nature, who's to say that the rituals don't get more intense? Or if they already are.
They've got rituals with boars? Oh, wow. I don't know. Do you think we should attack them?
Yeah, hey, Tahun, does Talos... Is it the propensity to manipulate animals to do their will and see through their eyes and be like guards around the mansion? Is that what Talos does?
I'm not entirely sure. However, there is a possibility of like some shamans, if you will, that
Shaman.
might be able to do that, and that is Victor grabbing at straws.
Oh, shamans are strong. I know. They're powerful. I know. I think so too.
Oh.
Makes sense. I mean, a shaman is somebody who would worship a god like Talos. I think there's something up with those pumpkins, though. I think we need to take a pumpkin.
I think that we've spent too much time here, and we
Sounds
either
like it's
attack-
vote time, guys. You guys have a couple decisions. Either back away, come with a bigger plan, head back to Phandalin, or approach, investigate the pumpkins, or just try to Leroy Jenkins it right into the manse. So if we can get some votes here in Roll20, just type in your preference. So we'll say, okay, yeah, just feel free to type it in whatever way makes sense. Okay, I got 2 voids for Leroy, I got 1 for leave, 1 for wait, and then 1 for pumpkins. Kurtu? Alright, so now your only 2 options are wait or Leroy, because it sounds like those 2 have equal votes. So re-vote real quick, Leroy or wait. I'm assuming our Leroys are Leroy still. Alright, that's 3 waits, 4 waits. Alright, so waits win. Alright, so how long would you guys like to wait, as you want to make sure to not get in over your heads and be cautious and careful here? Are we thinking wait like 20 minutes? Are we thinking wait like an hour? Give me an idea of how long you... 2 hours, okay? So it sounds like you guys would like to wait here for a couple of hours on the outskirts. If anybody has other thoughts, feel free to speak up now.
Yeah, on the outskirts, outside a map, of course, right?
Okay, so it sounds like back up and
That's
wait.
what I was
then.
thinking. Yeah, I was thinking back up and wait. And, you know,
Well,
2
we're-
hours
we're-
is just a time frame I put down
If
there.
we back up too far, we can't see anything.
Well, then you should stay here.
What are we
Don't worry,
waiting-
I'll give you a snack when I'm done.
I just don't understand what we're waiting for.
Alright, so
We're
based
waiting to
on just
make
trying to
plan.
push this forward a little bit, I'm going to assume you guys have backed up off. I'll send you back to the Sword Coast map. And we'll assume you guys have backed up maybe 100 or 150 feet, something like that. So you're off map and you're kind of just watching the outskirts. You're not seeing solidly the manse itself. You're not seeing the boars, that sort of thing. But you're reasonably close.
Maybe we can watch to see if anything like comes in our direction from that direction, and see if they are sending people, or not necessarily people, but if anything comes following us, to see if we're still around.
Well, there are other orcs, maybe not here or whatever, so maybe they send out a scouting party. I don't know. Maybe we can trim them down a little bit. I mean, I don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah, no, exactly. So, like, obviously the gig's up, right? The guy's alerted, he went back and, you know, probably hit the red button. So we're just going to walk back, give it a couple hours, see what happens, and re-engage the situation and kind of give it a fresh start kind of idea.
Alright, so remember you guys traveled for several hours and now you're waiting for a couple of hours. So it's been a little over 10 hours since you guys woke up this morning, did your travel. You're relaxing a bit here. We'll assume that time has passed by as you're watching carefully, looking for any signs of travel, anything coming towards you, anything that catches your attention. But no, the forest seems to be quiet.
All right. So what's... Yeah, go ahead, Reggie. I was going to ask, what's your thoughts?
I just don't understand what are we thinking, guys? I mean, are we going to investigate this and go take that treasure from Falcon, or I mean, are we just going to go back to Phandalin? What's the game plan here?
Make me invisible and I will go in and scope it out.
But then you'll be alone. What happens if something goes wrong?
She has
I
the
can
elixir
handle
of boldness.
You spoke at the same time. I couldn't understand you.
I have the chocolate foods that Finn gave me.
Rin, do you still have the the rocky talkies that we got from the dwarves like 6 sessions ago?
It's good for one use.
Wait, who has those in their
I
character sheet?
have one. Someone has the other.
It's not me. It's not in mine. It's got to be Dylan.
Nope.
I'm pretty anal about my character sheet, and I do not see Sending
Because I
Stone
took
on the
that.
list.
Hey, this is a PG-13 show, okay?
I don't have
Wait,
this
wait.
because I took
I
the
think I
potion.
might have a.
Somebody else does.
I think we said we gave one to Bryn.
You know the
don't
rule. If it's
have
not
it.
on your sheet, you don't have it. Who,
It's on
who
my
has?
sheet.
Okay, okay.
That's why I'm so important about it.
I just have one spot that says satanic on it. I'm not sure what that was.
You own that too.
Oh,
Who wants the sending stone? Here. You want the
What?
chat?
well, okay. Whoever's going in needs one of the stones, and then they can communicate with us one time. If they need help, or if we need to come rush in and get them. It's
Well,
not a.
Let's
It's
send
not
our
a.
best
We're
person
gonna
in.
keep communicating with each other.
We need to
But-
send our best person in if they're gonna sneak. That would be you, Cat. You would need to be the one that would do the sneaking.
Do you want? You could have the elixir. It's not just for Bryn. It'll help you. It'll help you in all ability checks and attacks and stuff for 1 minute. I think.
And it smells like chocolate.
And what are we looking for inside? Are you looking for how many people there are? What are we looking for?
That's it.
People, traps in the floor, bats.
We still have to contend with the boars outside.
Okay. Well,
Is your
It sounds
recommendation? Oh, sorry, go ahead.
it sounds like we have to get past the boars one way or the other. Even if someone stealths in, even if I stealth in, if I end up in trouble, then we're gonna have to get past all the boars all ourselves anyway. So maybe we try to do something about them first, and then we can reevaluate after that.
But they're just eating pumpkins. Why do we think that they're as smart as Reggie?
Because they've got one stationed in every pumpkin patch around the building.
Oh, that's why.
Animals don't. I mean, I guess it's possible they would want their space, but it's utterly bizarre to me that would be purely coincidental. I don't know how these magical rituals work, but I think these animals are sentries of some kind.
Oh, okay. You're the smart ones. I'll just listen then.
Well, I don't know if they're that old, a century or anything, but I think they're guards, for sure. We've used dogs and stuff where I come from. We've used them for, like, guards. So, yeah.
So the kobold agrees. So, why don't we try to lure away one or two of the boars, make an opening on one side of the building, and then we can reassess what we're doing from there.
Okay.
Sounds good. Maybe we try to trick one to come over, and maybe the others don't follow. Who knows? I don't know.
I have bacon.
Oh,
I
yeah.
don't know if bacon is the best bait for...
We have your friend over here. I don't know.
We have those berries. You could try to...
But we're overlooking something. I mean, why would somebody who has a bountiful food source at their feet leave for our food source? That doesn't. Would you leave a table with steak in front of you for a table with chicken, other than Finn?
That's what I'm
a
saying.
cat person.
Are we assuming these boars are against us?
You want to just go kill a boar or two?
I have too much boar meat as it is.
Just,
Well, are they even gonna bother us?
I don't know.
But we can't make that guess, right? I mean, let's say somebody does sneak inside, right? And then, so you need help. So we rush in real quick, and as we go to rush in, this ring of boars begin to attack everybody outside. now you've got crazy blood smear fang guy on the inside attacking one person, and then you've got other people trying to knock down boars just to get inside. It sounds risky.
But didn't the boars see us earlier and ignore us?
Because we didn't go into the...
As this conversation is occurring, the relative quietness around you is suddenly shattered by a sound.
Is that a foghorn?
It is a horn of some kind, yes, coming from the direction of the manse.
Okay, I think now we need to back off. Into the woods. Try to lose them.
I don't think it's for us.
I want to go see what they're doing. I wonder why, now that it's getting darker, let's go look.
I think so. I think we may have missed our chance to subdue them. We gave them ample time to do a ritual or anything like that.
I think they had time for dinner. I don't know. I don't know what they're doing.
Who knows? We need to investigate if they're going for Falcon. I mean, he's the only one there.
Hey, what time of day is it, Adam?
Let's see, you guys have spent about 10, 11-ish hours, so let's call it about 7 p.m.-ish.
It's dinner time. Every time at Tiglo Inn, I ring the bell as for dinner.
After a battle horn, you want to eat dinner?
Well, I use a ring thing, but, some people use a horn, I guess.
Let's go take a look. We don't know the answers yet. Let's go look.
Let's go look.
All right, sounds like you would like to push closer back towards the manse.
I personally, I'm going.
Yes.
And I'm going in stealth, just to confirm what going means.
Yes, we're being careful and quiet.
Yeah, I think what I guess from what I'm gathering, and honestly what I kind of want to do is kind of just slip around like a tree and just kind of peek my head over and kind of see any kind of activity that we can find.
As you get closer to the manse, you can see far to the south, at the edge of the map, as these individuals are walking further southwest, is a group of orcs that seem to be moving at a decent pace south-southwest.
Okay, so away from us.
Yes.
Does it look like they came from the building, or is it possible we've missed them on the road? How far away did we go into the woods?
You went about 150 feet back from the manse.
So there's no chance they slipped by us.
Slip by, I mean, I suppose it depends.
If they're going south-southwest, that implies they were coming from a north-northeast direction. So my question is, is there any chance while we were standing around jerking off trying to figure out what we were doing, is there any chance we saw them, like a war party, walk past us, outside?
You did not. Yeah, okay. I would say based on everything that's you've seen so far, I would say you are fairly confident in your guess that these orcs came from very nearby the manse.
Sounds like this might be our opportunity. If we wait 10-15 minutes for them to get wherever they're going, then we can infiltrate the manse. It sounds like there are fewer enemies, potential whatever, inside now.
That sounds like a good idea. Let's go with that.
Adam, did you mention how many that party was approximately?
You couldn't see exact numbers, but several.
More than 5? Question mark.
Yes. Several. All right, so I think what I heard is wait around here for 10 to 15 minutes and then proceed to the manse.
I just don't want to pile in as they're walking out the door and be well, they're still within shouting distance.
Right, they left with pace, right? They were running away.
I won't say running. They weren't going at full speed, but I would say a healthy walk.
So we're marching away. It seems as if a lot of the orcs, moved out. I agree with Cat. Wait a few minutes, let them settle down a little bit, and then go back in. Go in.
All
Do we
right.
want to attack the boars first, or are we just walking by?
I think we should walk by.
Yeah, we just walk by. Why attack the boars? We're just eating pumpkins, guys.
Alright, so if 15 minutes have passed, I think we start heading in. If we're all going together, there's probably no point in making anyone invisible, so... Our frontliners in front, I suppose?
Yeah, I'll be right up front.
No, you won't.
Oh.
That's
I
not
will
good.
protect the rear. That's what I'm doing, protecting the rear.
Adam, when we're walking past, does it look as if the boars are looking at us?
Nope, they seem to pay you no mind whatsoever. All right, Bryn, as you pass into this area, it looks to you that this is a kitchen. It is very old and disused. The door, as mentioned previously, is shattered in pieces on the ground here, and you can see several pieces that looks as though rats have chewed holes in this door now that it is on the ground.
Okay. First room clear.
Hey, Adam, I'm gonna look at that door. How long would it take for me to make something that would make it a door?
You would need some good raw materials first of all, and then probably a reasonable amount of time, somewhere in the range of like an hour or so.
Okay.
Bryn, as you look at that door, you can see this door is also broken, though it's like the bottom half mostly that seems to be broken away. And again, a lot of evidence here of rats having chewed at the door. The door is technically still on the hinges here, but it is so loose and flimsy that it feels like if you were to push it, it would just break right open.
Alright, I'll push it. Go in.
Alright, you break open into this door very easily. Like I say, it just kind of splinters before your touch. This room, you can notice that the roof in this room has collapsed, and that there's a bunch of debris scattered on the floor here. So you can see, some leaves. You can see occasionally like a pine cone, maybe an odd feather, that sort of thing. A bunch of junk here, and you can see that there are, in some of the wooden shelves that line the north and the south wall, you can see that there are some old birds' nests.
Can I search for secret compartments or traps?
You sure can. Go ahead and throw me a blind investigation check. You search this room, spending about a minute or so in this area, looking around, but you do not find anything that looks to be a hidden compartment or secret.
There was one other door on the other side.
Yeah, Adam, is this fireplace right here?
It is indeed, yes.
When's the last time it's been lit? Can I tell, or is it completely dilapidated?
You don't see any fuel source, no wood, no coal, nothing like that in here. It doesn't look like a fire's been in this fireplace in any recent activity.
Alright. You guys ready for me to open this one?
Yeah.
Bryn, as you open this door, you notice suddenly on the walls across from you are these pictures drawn in blood that depict boars chasing stick figure humanoids.
This is weird.
Probably means the boars are dangerous in some way, or...
Talhoun, as you get a bit closer here, you notice here on the mantle, so that's the stone representation just to your south there, on the mantelpiece itself, you can see there are these small twig figures. They look very similar to those ones that you spotted back at the loggers camp, but each one of these is a little bit unique. You can see they're kind of decorated, and there's different attire on them, some small bits of scrap that makes them individualized, and surprisingly, you see one of them that kind of looks like you.
More specifically, he doesn't have a lance. Very conspicuous.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that's creepy.
Yeah, I was waiting for the Curse of Strahd vibes.
Is it just Talhoun, or if we look at it, does it look like there's more for...
You notice that there are a few here. There is one that clearly seems to represent Talhoun. There is another one that seems to represent Bryn. Another one that seems to represent Kurtu. And a final one that seems to represent Cat.
Hey, Finn. I need your help.
Need my help? What?
Your little Zippo thing.
Yeah?
I need you to light this mantelpiece. The one with all these, I don't even want to call them idols. Voodoo dolls, if you will. But that doesn't exist.
Well,
I want to keep mine. It looks cute. I want to keep it.
well, Tahona, I don't want to be in the way of your convictions. Here, you can use it. You just flip the lid, and then you see that spinny wheel? Just slap that. Yes, just like that. And that's a little flame.
But, why don't you just burn the big one first, not the little one? If you're gonna burn one, don't burn mine.
Finn, I've got the flame out. How do I turn it off?
You gotta put the cap back on.
Oh, yeah. All right, maybe we shouldn't burn them.
Why not? The other ones brought misfortune, and these are of us.
Yes.
Sounds like they'll bring misfortune to us.
But we should test it to make sure first that we're not magically tied to it already.
Yeah, that's my fear.
Just put a little flame by the hand of yours.
Mine?
Yes, yours.
I've been burnt by a chair. I think I'm okay.
Calhoun, burn mine.
No, I'm gonna burn one. Just give it a little singe.
So which one are you trying to burn, and how are you burning?
Oh, eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Yeah, I guess we'll do Kurtu because he's...
No, you're not gonna
you
do
not
Kurtu. If you grab Kurtu, Kurtu's using Mage Hand to grab it.
All right, I guess a little on the foot. Maybe like the leg, not the foot. Just a little, like a small singe on like the thigh of Cat.
All right, as you...
What a brave paladin.
Yeah, I know. He doesn't do it to himself. He's gonna do it to someone else.
So is this on a torch, or how is this doing?
It's my Zippo that I create, my Tinkerer tool.
Okay, Tinker. Okay, fair. So, all right. So you hand this over. So one hand is this Zippo tool. As you start getting it closer and closer to these stick figures, you are somewhat surprised to notice that they all begin to move all of a sudden.
Like walking?
Like jump up and start rushing after all of you as we are moving into initiative.
How can we kill them?
Yes.
Apparently fire. They don't like that.
All right, let me put on some more appropriate music.
Hope we do better than the chair.
Was there
Yep.
one of Misa?
There is not.
It's a bunch of Chucky dolls.
All right, so Misa is quickest to act. Look at that. The old grandma wins initiative. I love it. Okay, she will move into the room here and prepare an action as we move to Talhoun.
This one down here, does it look as if it's... Who is that?
That one you're looking at would represent yourself, Talhoun.
Alright, cutting his head off.
Here comes the "Are you sure?"
You slash down, your great sword clanging into the mantelpiece. Anything else, Talhoun?
That's... give me just a second. I was not expecting combat. Yeah, that's it.
All right, Kurtu.
All right. Well, since I'm an experienced DM player, I'm a D&D player. I understand the concept of all going after the same enemy. So I'm going to go after I'm going to go after. I'm going to go after Talhoun's as well.
All right, fair enough.
Good excuse. Good excuse.
Yes. I was laughing at myself for even thinking it. All right.
You conjure up a firebolt, and as you send it towards the one that represents Talhoun, you see it moves and flashes you this really cocky grin as it throws its hair back and evades your firebolt.
All right, I'm
Just
gonna go
like Talhoun.
Yeah, sorry, I'm just having some fun with it. Being the brave Dragoran that I am, I'm moving backwards.
All right, this one, which represents Kurtu.
Are there multiple stacked? Oh, yeah, I guess so.
It hops off of the mantelpiece next to you here, Talhoun, and as it does, you see it swipes out with this little twig hand. I will need a defensive roll from you, please. Yes, and that is going to manage to get through your defenses as it cuts into you, dealing 2 points of piercing damage.
Oh my god.
Cat's turn.
Steady aim, Talhoun's figure.
Okay, yeah, so still on the mantelpiece. Looks like you got a straight shot at that one. And that will manage to connect as the bolt plucks it right off the mantelpiece. Go ahead and post damage.
Sneak attack?
Yeah, he's within 5 feet. Yes, the bolt will strike right through this figure, smashing it, obliterating it to pieces.
It's to Talhoun.
Yeah.
I think the question was, what happens to Talhoun?
Oh, nothing obvious that you can see.
No.
Oh, darn. Okay. Well, I can't move because I steady aim, so that's my turn.
All right, Finn.
Okay, I'm going to disengage and move 5, 10, 15, 20. No bonus action in my turn.
All right, this one that represents Bryn is going to hop forth to here and strike out at Talhoun on the flank. Talhoun, another defensive roll, please. Yes, this one will connect as well, as you're not able to evade these little tiny piercing hands. Another 2. Next up is Bryn.
Okay, Bryn's gonna try and attack the one that looks like her.
Yeah, you slash down solidly, and that will certainly connect. Yep, just like you'd expect from putting a great sword through a twig figure, it is destroyed. You kind of feel a little bit bad for it, even.
I don't
That
know about
was
that.
depressing and yet cathartic.
Alright, next up we have another twig figure. Okay, it looks like Reggie wants to use his reaction to throw some necrotic spores at the creature. Yeah, okay, that effect, let me just double check, but I think that'll get it. It will indeed. So yes, these necrotic spores wound this one.
Is this one mine?
It is, yes. And from the mantelpiece, it strikes down at Bryn. Bryn, go ahead and throw me a defensive roll.
God,
You
they're
are-
kicking our ass.
Yeah, you guys' defensive rolls are not doing too well tonight, but this one is going to connect, Bryn. So you will suffer 3 points of piercing damage as this little twig gets its little claws into you, and we move to Reggie's turn.
Okay, Reggie's going to move. Kind of a wrap around like this, and as he does, he's going to pull himself in front, and he's already chewing on one of his poisonous mushroom caps, and he's going to, the one that just that he hit with his necrotic spores, he's going to try to poison spray.
All right, you toss out some poison spray at it. Go ahead and give me a spell effect roll. Yes, as the poison splashes into it, you see it actually like reaches out its hand very like a death grip type of way as it collapses off the mantelpiece and falls on the ground in a wet, poisonous, splooshy sound. All right, top of the round, Miza, seeing what's going on at this point in time, she will throw some pouch dust over at the one next to Talhoun. But unfortunately, the little twig will manage to evade this strike as it's Talhoun's turn.
All right, guy to my me. I'm going to attack me.
You connect and hit yourself.
I killed Talhoun. This is...
I thought he really meant he was trying to hit himself because that one was... No, I'm kidding. Okay, so you do kill that twig figure as you smash it into the ground, and then it is silent here. All right, you guys have managed to survive that very dangerous battle. Hopefully this has given you an idea of how dangerous it might be here.
I think you're baiting us. I don't believe you.
Are there still bodies of the creatures there, Adam, or did they kind of poof away or anything?
They did not poof away, but based on the massive amount of damage dealt, I would say they are splintered and broken into many pieces. At this point, instead of being twigs, you're just finding broken pieces of really small twigs.
Have I ever come across any creatures like that before that can be inanimate and inanimate on a whim?
You've certainly heard stories of weird things like this before, but go ahead and give me a blind nature check.
Or was that chair?
So these are fairly common creatures, though they didn't look exactly like you were expecting them, as they're decorated up and looking like your party members. But you're pretty confident these are what is known as twig blights. These are plant creatures that have been animated through some dark powers in order to enact evil actions of their creator.
I'd like to cast that there on Kurtuz. Even though it was destroyed, I still feel like he needs to go up in a fiery grave.
All right, fair enough. You ignite him.
That's how I would want to go.
We'll remember that if you do go, Kurtuz.
Oh, I'm sure.
Adam, is this a window or a door next to Bryn?
To the south is a door.
Well, should we keep going, guys?
Somebody made those twig blights and somebody blew that horn.
Let's keep
Might
going.
as well.
All right, Bryn, as you open this door, you notice stone steps lead down to a flagstone courtyard that has a pillared arcade to the east. 7 windows on the upper level overlook the courtyard. That'd be a little bit more difficult to see from where you're at, but you probably could make it out. In the middle of the courtyard, you see a 5-foot wide stone well, thick with vines erupting from it.
Magnificent.
And are these 2 doors to the south, Adam?
They are.
Does anybody want to investigate that bush thing, or should we keep going?
Is that... Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I'll move up. Can I identify the vines?
Can you identify the vine? I mean, they look like typical vines you would find in a forest, so things that grow in the ground and then wrap around, stretching as far as they can go. They seem to be coming from the well itself, but there doesn't, I mean, on a quick glance, there doesn't seem to be any kind of special effect of the vines or nothing magical or anything out of the ordinary, just like typical vines.
You look normal.
I think I heard you say there's 2 levels in this room. Is there like a balcony or something, or like an upper level?
There is. So if you notice the pillars here that are represented on this, so think of this as the support beams for the level above, when you can see that there would be like windows above here. So you almost get the impression that in the upper level, maybe people stand here and would look down to the courtyard.
And we're underneath that level currently, right?
Correct.
So
really
theoretically, I can move here and look at the upper level.
Correct, yep.
What do I see?
You see those windows for sure. And through the window, I would say you can see, based on what you can see, you imagine that level is, or that area is a narrow hallway, maybe 10-ish feet wide.
I see no one up there.
Keep going. I don't like being out in the open like this.
Alright, you open this door, Bryn, and take a peek in. This room was once a bedchamber, kitchen, and dining room rolled into one. 4 beds stand along the south wall with shuttered windows and nightstands between them. Against the west wall are 4 wardrobes and a cabinet full of plain dishware and cutlery. 4 chairs surround a small dining table in the northeast corner, and a trestle table strewn with pots and cooking utensils stands near a blackened fireplace. All the furnishings are made of wood. The ceiling in the southwest corner of the room has collapsed, filling the area below with debris and leaving a jagged hole through which the room above is visible.
And what do I see in the room above, or do I need to get closer to the... Can I...
Yeah, you would need to get closer to that outline etched on the ground there that represents the hole in the ceiling.
Hey guys, I'm going to look up at the ceiling. Oh,
from where you're at, looking up, I would say you can only see a small portion of the room above. Nothing special sticks out to you. It just looks like another room.
can I see there? From there?
You could get a little better look there. From what you can see, though, yeah, I would say as you circle around that area and just kind of look up, seeing if you can spot anything of interest, you do not. There's obviously another level up there, but there's nothing that's close to the edge or within line of sight that draws your eye.
So this has, you said, a kitchen, bedroom, and stuff. I'm going to search the kitchen for ingredients and foods and stuff like that.
So this used to be all of these different things rolled into one. You get the impression this is quite a bit in disuse, but there is still some utensils, cutlery, that kind of thing. So yeah, go ahead and throw me a blind investigation check as you look around for any kind of ingredients or anything of interest. No, you don't find anything of interest here as far as ingredients or any kind of recipes or nothing like that. If there was anything like that, it has long since been removed from this room.
Can I reach up in this fireplace, Adam? Is there anything like tucked away, or can I poke around where the fire was? Anything hidden away or burnt, left over?
Sure. Yeah, give me a blind investigation check as you search the fireplace. You find nothing of interest. Your hand comes back with some soot.
There's another door over here.
Doesn't that just lead out to the same? Didn't we see it on our way in?
Yeah, I'm going to open this door. I don't have my open door.
I'm gonna say
Hi,
boo.
guys.
Yeah, I was gonna say boo right when he opens the door.
Remember, we're supposed to be quiet.
Oh, sorry. I am quiet. I'm a gnome.
Bryn, does it look like we can climb up into the room, or is this not going to work? The room above?
So, as a quick glance here, Bryn, the ceiling from the ground to the floor is 8 feet difference. So, based on your height, jumping ability, maybe someone giving you a boost, you think you probably could reach up there, but then you'd have to pull yourself up. So, doable, but not necessarily something that's super easy.
Could I throw one of the smaller creatures up there?
Oh, easily, yeah. Particularly, like, male gnomes seem to be real easy to throw.
What about little turtles or little dragons?
Is Reggie little? I thought he was huge.
4'7", 275.
275?
It's a big, heavy shell, man.
I gotta lay off the butter.
Not it!
A heavy shell.
Not it! Oh, it was the last.
Eeny, meeny, miny, mo.
Give him a good chunk.
You have a rope on you, Finn?
Let me check. Let's see, I have an explorer's pack. Yes! I have a rope.
Okay, so when you get up there, if the coast isn't clear, jump right back down and we'll help you out. But if the coast is clear, tie it off to something and the rest of us can climb up.
Okay. So Bryn, you're just gonna throw me up there? Yeah. So when? On the count of 3, right?
1, 2, and I throw him on 2.
All right, so Bryn, you're basically grabbing Finn and like a ball and then just trying to chuck him up there as hard as you can so he gets to the second level.
Yeah, like just both hands, just underhanded throw, just trying to make sure he gets all the way up there.
All right, Bryn, you can make this publicly. Throw me an athletics check to see how good of a heft and throw you get on the gnome here.
Please, Nat 1.
Don't hit my head on the wall! Ah, the ceiling!
You clear this easily as you throw him with good force. Finn, you are flung up through this hole and smack your bottom on the floor above, finding yourself here.
No token lock is a good sign.
What do I see here, Adam? I guess you
Scanning around this area briefly as you've landed on your bottom, I would say you don't notice anything out of the ordinary. It looks like maybe this was a guest room, perhaps, based on the size, based on the remnants of furnishing and that sort of thing. You also notice there is some debris and such in the corner, but nothing else that sticks out.
All right, now, although I know I weigh like next to nothing. What is my bio anyway? Anyway, I'm small, so I'm gonna stand up and carefully and check the floor. How's the floor look as far as gaining my weight?
Give me a blind investigation check as you search this area for structural integrity. Seems fine. Yeah, I mean, obviously where the hole is, you wouldn't want to stand right next to it, but the rest of the flooring seems to be intact and in good condition.
Hey guys, the room looks fairly empty. I'm okay.
And can I climb on your shoulders and get up there?
Yeah, there you go. And she'll bend down.
I'll help you up.
I'm gonna go up.
Which isn't much.
All right, so Kat, you're climbing on Bryn's shoulders, and I assume you're grabbing on the edge of the floor and trying to pull yourself up, and Finn, you're trying to assist.
Yeah.
Yeah, as much as 5 pounds worth of effort can make.
Throw me a blind check, Kat.
Oh shit, that's not the right. That. Oh yeah.
All right, Kat, you managed to, with the assistance of Bryn and Finn, climb up.
Oh, where'd I go?
Cat. I have a rope. You said I don't know where to tie it to though.
Is there anything up here to tie it to? Or is it just like an empty room?
Nothing obvious, I would say. Nothing sticks out to you as being ideal for tying a rope.
Well, then, between the two of us, if we're both holding the rope, I think we can help other people up just fine.
Of course I can. Yes, I can help.
So I'll throw my own rope down. And I'll have Finn and myself hold it and, like, brace. I guess there's not really anything to brace next to, but it's 50 feet long, so if we can feel it give, it should be easy enough to compensate.
Okay, so you're uncoiling the rope down the hole and then allowing the other individuals to begin climbing up.
Yeah.
All right, who would like to try to climb up using the rope?
Just to give it a test, Calhoun.
All right, Calhoun, go ahead and throw me a blind check as you're trying to climb your way up. Calhoun, as you're climbing your way up and using this rope with your heavy armor and all that fun stuff, as you're getting closer to the edge and you're like, once you get up there, you have to maneuver this area so you don't get stabbed by one of these, jagged planks that are sort of at the edge here. You're just trying to be careful. Again, this doesn't look to be really all that dangerous. You don't think you're going to get stabbed, but it certainly doesn't look comfortable, so you're trying to be careful. And as your armor braces in a section of this, you do notice part of this debris right along the edge of the hole clatters down and cascades to the ground, hitting and echoing out with a bit of noise.
Cat, that wasn't me. I didn't do that.
Am I at the top, though?
You pull yourself up the last bit, and more debris cascades down below. And with that, we are going to lock the tokens.
Oh boy.
Okay, so
split in half. Dun, dun, dun.
For initiative purposes, I'm going to throw you guys now. And then there might be some other situations or actors involved in this.
Why did you do this, Victor? On purpose.
That's what I do, man. I just mess things up, alright?
Alright, so again, you've heard this loud clatter of sound. After this loud clatter of sound, Reggie, you were the first act. And I'm going to put on what I'm going to call up-tempo, interesting things happening music. Reggie, what would you like to do?
I'm going to step into the hole here, and I'm going to shout up after seeing everybody. Well, not shout, but just in my normal speaking voice. I guess Reggie wouldn't think that anything climactic is going on. The music didn't start for Reggie, so he's just going to look up in the hole, and he's going to say, that was kind of loud. Are you guys okay?
Yeah, I don't see anything coming up. I don't know why we're initiative, so I don't see why things would change.
Well, I'm gonna pass Kurtu up to you next. You ready?
Yes.
And then I'm gonna hold my action to lift Kurtu for Kurtu's turn, if that's what he chooses to do.
Alright, so you're ready in an action to assist Kurtu. Alright, Calhoun, up top, what do you do during this time?
Yeah, I hear that loud bam, and then Cat reprimanding me. I'm gonna stand up.
Cat didn't say that, I did.
Oh, I know. I'm gonna help with the rope to get people up.
Okay, so you're holding on to the rope and assisting.
Correct. Yeah, there's nothing crazy going on, so yeah.
Alright, before Miza's turn, down below, Bryn, Reggie, Kurtu, yeah, I would say all of you down there on that first level, you certainly hear the sound of a curt instruction in Orcish, and I believe we found out recently that nobody speaks Orcish in this group, so I don't think anybody...
Let us level up, I could.
No, unfortunately not quite yet. So yes, nobody speaks Orcish, so as you hear this curt command in Orcish, you can hear the sound of, I'm going to say, strange movement occurring, as it's almost like maybe furniture is being moved around or something.
Upstairs?
No, from down on your level.
Like, from what direction?
Well, as you're asking that, Bryn, you notice out of the corner of your eye to the north a small twig figure that enters moves to about here, and then you see it turns and points its little twig finger right at you, and while it doesn't speak, you see it shaking it as though it's indicating a location, perhaps. And you hear the sound of many more things suddenly moving.
God.
All right, next up then is Miza, and she, having heard this too, will come over to here and then say, "Oh dears, it looks like there's many of them coming from the north," and she will throw some pouch dust at the one closest. But unfortunately, it's not able to connect. After Miza's turn, we hear some more movement. And then we have Finn's turn up above.
So, Talhoun has he's strong, he's got the rope, so I'm just going to let go of the rope. And there's nothing going on up here, right, Adam, that I can see?
Nothing obvious.
Alright, I'm going to move here carefully, because I know the floor is compromised, but I think I checked it already. What can I see from there?
Looking down, you can see Reggie, you can see Britt.
Guys, come on up. There's nothing up here. I'm going to ready a firebolt at the next enemy that comes to view from there.
All right, before Kurtu's turn, we hear some more movement down below. And then we have Kurtu's turn.
Alrighty, so I can see these things.
If you can see them on your map, you can see them.
Alright, and Reggie, you were going to boost me up or whatever?
Yeah, it's like, you know, that cheerleader pose where they're like holding their hands in front. I'm like, I'm waiting for you.
Alright, shoot. I'm going to accept it.
All right, Kurtu, give me a blind check as you attempt with Reggie's aid and using the rope to climb, knowing that there are these creatures nearby, which gives you a bit of fear as you try to climb up to the top.
I have no fear.
He's like half dragon, dude.
You manage to make it up to the top just barely as you're breaking through some more of this little bit of the edge, and a little bit tiny bit more of these planks just fall down below.
What's going on down there, Kurtu? We heard shouting.
There's little tiny stick figures trying to attack everybody.
Anything else on your turn, Kurtu?
So, I'm actually going to come over here and just, Adam, am I able to look down? Is that kind of what that's supposed to indicate, or how does that?
It is, yeah, but you are looking through a window, so that is like a glass pane of, pane of glass, so you can see down below. And I would say from where you're standing, you can see 4 of these twig creatures in that area.
And does it seem like that they came from that creature in the well?
You didn't see any creature in the well. You don't, having not had line of sight on them when they were moving, you're not sure.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, I'll end my turn.
All right, before Bryn's turn, we hear some additional movement. And we also hear a guttural cry in Orcish. then it's Bryn's turn.
Okay, Bryn will move right here. Close the door. Can she stuff some, like, sheets underneath it? Weren't there beds over there?
I mean, you certainly could spend some time trying to strip off any debris in here to use to block the lowest part of the door.
Okay, and is opening and closing a door in action?
That's interact with object as long as you have a free hand, which you're using a great sword, so you do.
Okay. She'll go right there and close this one.
All right, so you've interacted with object once. To close the second door, that would be your action. Is that what you'd like to do?
Yep.
Okay.
And then try and shove some other stuff under there. And then just head back right there.
All right, so as you recall, just as a quick reminder here for those of you guys on the first level, this area is a ruined place. If you remember, some of the doors that you saw were really bad. These ones are a little bit better, but they certainly don't look like they're going to hold up to a sustained attack upon them, I'll say. So we will, after that, we will move to the top of the round with Cat.
Okay. If I move 5, 10, am I able to angle myself so I can peer down into the courtyard from this window?
Yes, you can. Looking down into the courtyard over Kurtu's shoulder, you can see, I would say, from your current position, probably 6 stick figures.
And remind me, how high are we up? How high up are we? Like 8, 10 feet?
Yeah, so your feet would be 8 feet from the ground of the lower level, but, you personally, your hands, 10 feet-ish.
Okay. Does it look... If I use my action, or my interact with objects to open this window, does it look like I can get my crossbow into a position where I can shoot something?
So, being the way that these are depicted, I'm going to guess that these are intended to be like panes of glass. So I don't think this is like an openable thing. Let me think. Yeah, because it's like a... So, yeah, sure, why not? Just to make it easy, we'll say yes, you can interact with that. But I don't think it's like a window sill, but just for ease of play, we will say it's that. So, yes, you can interact with the object to lift it.
So I have a sniper perch here, basically.
Sure, yeah.
So I will interact with object, open the window.
Okay.
And I will shoot at the one I have the clearest shot at. I know it's not on the map because it's on the other side of the... But I will shoot at one.
All right, I'm going to call it the one 10 feet north of you. Essentially 10 feet and 5 feet west. So, yeah, you're angling it out and trying to fire that way.
Here comes the shot.
Bolt punctures into this little twig figure. And, yes, even without the sneak attack, it is decimated.
Okay. I'll pop back another 5, 10 feet back to where I was.
All right, we hear some scratching from the other side of the room as we move to Reggie's turn.
The doors, Adam, do they seem like they open like in both directions? Like a...
No, I would say they open inwards. That's probably what would make the most sense. So from your direction, you'd be opening the door towards you.
Okay. So I'm going to move here, and I'm going to kind of put my back to the door and kind of brace and say, all right, let's get Miza up there. And I don't know how we want to call that, Adam, but I'll use my action to hold this door and brace it.
Okay,
try to
sure.
Stop anything from coming in.
All right, up top, Talhoun.
Yeah, I'm gonna look over to Kat, seeing her do the sniper perch thing. So there's action down there?
There's lots of those little monsters that we fought earlier. I don't think the door's gonna hold for long.
holding on to the rope. I'm gonna go down and I'm gonna see. I guess. What is Bryn's? I guess temperance at this moment. Like, does she look like she's ready for combat, or?
Bryn, how do you imagine you're looking at the moment?
Ready to try and climb up that hole to the second floor.
So maybe she's eyeing the rope greedily.
Okay. I'm gonna shout down. If I have time for it, I'm gonna shout down. Come on up, and grip the rope even tighter, and that's my turn.
All right, you guys can certainly hear sounds coming from the other door now, the one that is in the northeast of this room.
Which guys?
Lower level guys. And just double checking here.
It's got 50 health points, I believe.
All right, we hear some more scratches at the door, some movement. Okay, so Kurtu, since you're up right next to this window, I'll put you in this actual space. You notice down below, climbing out of the well through all this plant material, a similar looking creature to the stick figure. So this one's a bit bigger. And you can see that it is more like greenish, I would say, than these stick figures. And it has these kind of like longer tendrils that seem to hang off of it. The greenish of its body represents to you, or, you know, makes you think of the vines that it was nearby. It probably camouflaged very well in there. Once it gets to here, you notice it, like its chest kind of explodes out open as all these vines begin to stretch out in this area, coating it with all these entangling plants. And it actually stretches up high all the way to you, and I will need you to give me a strength saving throw.
All right, Adam. If I need, I also have inspiration, just in case. So.
Okay, so I'll let you know if you fail, and then you can choose to re-roll.
Sorry, I was looking for the wrong button.
Yep, yeah. Saves you can throw publicly. So do you want me to take this one, or do you want to throw it publicly?
Just go ahead and take it and tell me how I did.
All right, fair enough. You see these vines break through and they stretch up, coating this windowsill, coating your space, but luckily you managed to evade them and they do not hit onto you. Other side of the room, we still got some more movement. You can see additional creatures jumping out of the well. All right, and then we get to Miza's turn. All right, having heard Reggie say she should go up next, Miza will go here and quickly try to scamper up.
Come on, Miza, get up here quick!
Miza's having some challenges here, guys, as she's trying to climb, and not too effective at it. She's only about halfway up at this point, and she's getting closer to the edges. Still hear some more scratching on the other side. Finn.
Halfway up. So I guess my 1 foot arm is not going to help get her up.
If you're willing to like lay on your belly and reach over, you could probably assist her up the rest of the way.
I want to do that, yes. Miza,
you spend
reach.
your action reaching down mechanically. This is sort of like grappling her and then pulling her up the rest of the way.
Okay. Make ready. They're coming down there. End my turn.
I saw him, dear. There's a lot. Kurtu's turn.
All right, Adam. If I was to try this, I'm not shooting it right now. I just want to ask mechanically. If I
Okay.
shot that into the well, right? I'm trying to get you said they're coming out of the well. Would I hit more than one, or would it be a one-hit target?
So you notice several creatures hop out of the well and then continue moving. If you shoot this directly at the well, let's see, you would be shooting from 10 feet up, you would actually hit no creatures. If you aim this directly down, I would say from your current position, the best you're going to get is 2 creatures.
Would one of them be that real evil thing?
The thing that came out of the well?
Yeah.
You realize there are now 5 of those in this room.
All right. And does the twig thing look flammable? That's coming out of the well itself.
It looks like it's made out of vines, so green, long tendril type stuff. I would say you don't know one way or the other. You can spend your action to make a check to see if this information is known to you.
All right. Actually, so what I'm going to wind up doing, Adam, is I'm going to do both. Right. So what I mean by that is I'm going to use a sorcery point for quicken spell. And
Okay.
I'm going to use the first spell that I mentioned, right, to see what I get. And then I'm going to also try a firebolt, hoping to catch it on fire because of the way it's described.
Okay, so Quicken Spell. So you're going to use Quicken Spell, and this will allow you to spend 2 sorcery points to change a spell to a bonus action. Alright, so you're going to bonus action cast Agonizer's Scorcher. So go ahead and post that, and I think we've built in a way for you to burn your sorcery points, so go ahead and burn your sorcery points. And then cast the spell with the attack mechanism so that we see it posted. Looks like that was the wrong one there, Bill.
Yeah, wrong button, sorry.
Okay, so as these flames leap down towards this line, hitting these 2 targets as you angle it as best you can, the flames are going to instantly ignite the first creature. No save needed there, it's just dead. The second one, however, give me a spell effect roll. Yes, that will certainly connect as these flames scorch into the vine creature, burning it badly. Alright, so that was your bonus action and your sorcery points. Now, as an action, you want to cast Firebolt?
Yeah, my hope is just that it catches on fire, right? You know, so.
Okay, so the Agonizer Scorcher scorched it, but you don't see that it's a light. It's just got burnt from that like you would expect from a normal opponent.
Right, but the firebolt itself has anything that's carrying or whatever could be ignited, so I'm just, you know.
Sure, so you want to target the same guy that got hit by the Scorcher now with a Firebolt.
Yeah, but what about the vines themselves? Am I able to target that?
Post Firebolt for me. Does it say a creature? I think you can shoot that at. Oh, you're good. I can hit the thing here. A creature or object within range. I mean, the vines are certainly an object. You can try that if you like.
Yeah, I'd like to try it just to see. So, because I think that if it works, that's my gooder option there. So.
All right. So your Firebolt streaks down into the vines, hitting nearby the well. I will say it scorches the vines, but probably not what you were hoping, where it would suddenly ignite the entire area, would go up in flames and start burning a lot of these guys here. It does not do that. It looks like these vines are maybe wet or something along those lines. Either way, they're not easily flammable.
All right, it was worth a try. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and step back.
All right, we hear some more movement from the other room, some more scratching. We also hear, again, this orcish shout and what sounds like, I will say, spell casting coming from the other room. As we move to Bryn's turn.
Alright, she's gonna try to climb up.
All right, Bryn, give me an athletics check as you start climbing up, or blind athletics check. Yep, you make it up, no problem. You go very quickly as you go hand over hand and find yourself at the top.
Do I see anything I can attack?
Not unless you want to take a swing at Kurtu.
Well.
Alright, I will.
Reggie, you see from the other side, this other door gets pushed open. And stepping through is a very strange looking creature that seems to be made of vines. It looks at you and just sort of points a viney hand, this tendril that just kind of motions, flicking a little bit back and forth. And as we find ourselves at the top of the round, that's where we're going to go ahead and pause it for tonight, fellas and ladies. We will pick up next week and continue this adventure with our fingers crossed and hoping for the group survival.
All right, folks. Hey, have another good week. Catch you next one.
Yep, have a good week, guys. Thanks.
Good night, everybody. See you next week.
Everybody.
Take it easy, everybody.
Next week.